inside my head. I need an angel after what you did, 'cause you were the devil, you messed with my head. You lied to my mother, you lied to my friends. You said that you'd be there, but this never ends. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a You're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. You're just a ghost inside my head. Oh, you're just a ghost inside my head. drift away. I fill my space, I spend my time down the rabbit hole again. And as I fall, I can feel the pain. You can't tell me where to go, so I don't know, I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. I'm out of love, but I guess I deserved it. Trying to hide, to pass you by. I'm getting down, feeling fine. I'm light as air, no one can reach me. Lost in a dream, lost in between. Let's keep on flying, let's keep on breathing. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. Cause I'm stuck in limbo. Cause I'm stuck in limbo.
Living in the same routine, like the seasons I'm on repeat. It's a long way down. Trying not to follow suit. Don't like the color, I'll change the shade of it. I'm not afraid of it. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat it. Fast forward a year or two, friends have changed, but so can you. so can you. For too long about the mistakes, while I resent, I learned to hate. Forgot your names. Fear the struggle to follow on. Need to focus to prove you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. I know I'm, oh, I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat it. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on, holding on, holding on, holding on, holding on.
Welcome to tonight's NECC action, and we have a series tonight to bring you. And first up, we do have Towson University versus Johnson and Wales University. Now, I don't know too much about these teams personally, but I am excited for this series regardless. Now, they are part of the Emergence White Division, and I'm just looking forward to it overall. So overall, I'm Cyrostims, and I am joined by my co-caster, Gopherino here. And Gopher, how are you doing tonight?
Because this was slightly short notice. Either way, though, we are well into draft here. Just about to finish up here with that R5 Azir being locked in for Towson. So Towson, they're bringing a metric ton of damage with their composition. We'll see if JWU's composition is able to stand up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we are seeing these drafts in the future. So I'm not quite sure if we'll be seeing them inside the client as well. But either way, it should be pretty exciting overall, because I know we're on, what is it, 12.4 or no, 12.5B as a patch. And we are going to throw it to a quick break, just make sure everything is spick and span for what's going to come up next.
I swear I've seen you before, holding your shoes in your hands, running out that door. And you are nothing, but you say you wanna dance, and you're worrying, oh, you'll end up in the wrong hands. I'm lacking sincerity, but you don't care at all. This booze, this cigarettes trying to take me home.
feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh. Magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh.
Welcome back. We had a quick issue to sort out there, but it should be resolved, and we will be hopping into Champ Select as soon as we can. Now, go for it. I'm definitely excited here. We've seen a bit of the future, you could say, but I know with the current patch, there's definitely been some nerfs that we have to consider, which has affected current meta picks, like the mana increase on the Jinx Rockets. Do you think this could potentially reduce her viability as a champion?
So the Jinx is still going to be picked most likely by a lot of people. The nerfs were targeting her early game, just safety in the lane, like you said, with the mana, the base range boost from that rocket launcher. But we will be still seeing Jinx because she still becomes that menace at those just 2 item point really, and can snowball a game extremely well. Of course, not as easy to do anymore, but we'll see if there is a Jinx on the Rift this time around because, like you said, there were some key nerfs, but since it is the 12.5V patch, the nerfs erring more on the side of just like caps to viability for the long haul.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Targeting the early game and her wave clear potential, which is always annoying to deal with, as well as in the trading. But looking at Champ Select right now, because we are into that, we have JWU Yellow on blue side and Towson on red side. So the first set of bans include the Hecarim, Nunu, Nico for blue, and Set, Shaco, and what's his last one going to be? Oh, they're taking their time thinking about it, aren't they? And it's a Victor. Now, Victor, a very strong control mage right now. So I'm not surprised that one is taken off the boards, you could say. But for the most part, targeted bans, strong bans, and what I would expect out of these two teams.
And it looks like Towson going to be locking in a very strong dueling topside here with the Akali J4. It might have a little bit of trouble locking down the Ornn here for JWU. However, if you are able to keep that Ornn in place, you do have the damage to take the big old goat on down. We'll see what the response is. Looks like the Gragas here coming up for JWU. Haven't been seeing as much Gragas in the jungle lately here, Cyrostims, but still making his presence known in this game at least.
Yes. So the Ornn Akali matchup, the Orange is looking to survive that. The good thing about the Gragas is that it has a lot of disengage potential, especially if you're trying to knock away an Akali or disrupt a J4 ultimate. Now, I believe the Shrima shuffle coming out of the Azir is unstoppable in its animation. So that will definitely be an interesting interaction that we could witness if the exploding cask interrupts that. But there is that Malzahar, the classic point and click CC ability that annoys virtually everyone.
And so far, it looks like JWU having a lot of lockdown on their comp. You have these two big beefy frontliners in the Ornn and Gragas, but then you also have the Malzahar as well, who brings a lot of utility with that Malefic Visions. Of course, you do have to keep in mind the QSS tax slash Malzahar tax is a thing for a reason, so we'll see if Towson's able to get some of those coming online early, because a 1,300 gold setback when it comes to power spikes is very noticeable, but if you do snowball on the Malzahar, you kind of have that cushioning anyways.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Having that extra gold sync can definitely be annoying. Now, looking at the rest of the bands, we have the Katarina and Nivea on the side of JWU, and the Darius Echo on the side of Towson. So the final picks are the Vayne Nami and the Jinx Lulu. The Jinx Lulu is a fairly standard bot lane composition, you would say. It's very commonly picked 1-2. And the Vayne Nami is a little bit interesting because Vayne is a hyperscaler champion, where Nami is a bit of an early game bot lane. Has a lot of annoying abilities to poke you down and also sustain the lane out. So I'm interested to see how bot lane goes, at least early on, and if Vayne can weather the clear and poke coming out of Jinx.
Because the Vayne here for Galaxy Gun, like you said, gonna have a little bit of a trouble given the range disadvantage that champion has in this matchup. Of course, if you do make it to level 6, if you use the tidal wave and then combine that with the final hour, you can look to get some all-ins going bot lane. You also have the Gragas here, who can help set up all that in the bot lane as well, with body slams, with caskets, what have you. But like you said, it is going to be a matter of making it to that point here. And we even see the exhaust coming out here for Galaxy Gun as this Vayne. Worried about potential dives coming out from Rex's Akali, as well as any potential dives coming out from Love's J4.
Yeah, I agree with the exhaust for the Vayne here, but not generally for the top lane or the jungler on the side of Towson, because that will probably be in the mid to late game. But in the early game, having a double offensive summoner spell combination with the Ignite and Exhaust means that you can trade heavily into the opposing team and look to win those all-ins a little bit easier. So we are seeing the Ruin matchups. It is the Grasp of the Undying with the Conqueror on the Akali, which for the most part is fairly standard, I would say.
Yeah, nothing too surprising there in the top lane. And then also in the jungle, not really anything too shocking coming out of the Bucks here. The biggest thing I would say is the Predator Gragas coming out. We haven't really been seeing that as much recently, although that's partially because we've been seeing much more top lane Gragas, which favors the Grasp or the Phase Rush, whereas jungle Gragas has historically gone the Predator, but Phase Rush also a very strong tool in that arsenal as well. Probably just coming down to some personal preferences there.
Ooh, so the Aerie and the Halo Blades for the mid laners here as their keystones. It makes sense for the Malzahar, and I'm actually a little bit surprised about the Halo Blades for the Azir. It's not something I would say I've normally seen, but it does make sense if you're looking for quick, aggressive trades with your Sand Soldiers. So I'm definitely going to watch this matchup just to see how useful that Keystone Rune is, because we could also go into Lethal Tempo, which is what the Jinx has right now, and the Vayne as well. So both ADCs mirroring each other with the Keystones, but that's about it for the rest of their rune choices.
Yep. The only real big deviations here is the fact that we are still seeing Ravenous Hunter here for this Vayne coming out from JWU, something that we don't really see anymore after all the nerfs, especially if you have that Legend Bloodline. I know a lot more people have been favoring the I forget the name of it, the Hunter rune that gives you the item ability haste. That can be so especially helpful if you do end up going for the shield bow.
And then for the supports, we do have Aerie on the Nami, which is fairly common, especially if you're not going the Electrocute Nami. I actually prefer the Aerie because it scales a little bit better, where the Electrocute is definitely you want to bully the early game portion of the game and get your lead there. Otherwise, it falls off a little bit too hard, in my opinion. But we also see the Guardian on the Lulu. Now that's fairly standard as well, though you also see Ari pretty often on the Lulu, so nothing too surprising overall in terms of Keystone runes.
Yeah, just some small minor things that are shaking it up a little bit here and there that you can nitpick or explore. You do so, please. Either way, though, like you said, nothing too surprising coming out. And I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too wacky here in terms of just setups for level 1. Neither of these teams really has the manpower or just sheer brute force to set anything up. They both have these really hard scaling APKs in the bot lane. You also have some fairly well scaling mid laners here, so both these teams might just be looking to play a bit of a slower game here, Cyro. Just wait it on out, let your carries scale on up, and then see how the team fights in the late game shape on up.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say though that JWU, they want to team fight. They have a better team fight composition overall. Where I feel that Towson, while they can team fight just as easily, their comp feels a little bit better to the split push. You want that Kali to have side pressure and be able to be that side lane menace. Make sure that you have to double commit to kill her, and then the rest of your team can still team fight effectively with the set of ultimates that they have. So neither side, I would say, have an advantage in team fights over the other. Though I'm going to say that the win conditions for JWU might be a little bit easier overall. But go for it. What I really want to ask you is, in a best of 3 series right now, who do you think will take it?
Uh, my guess is about as good as a coin flip. I sadly did not really get to look at the players beforehand, so flip a coin, and I guess that'll be my answer. Can't really say too much. As for this game, like you said, both these teams kind of pretty decently similar, although JW Yellow, much more straightforward front to back team fighting comp here. You have all that beefy front line, you have all the utility with the Malzahar, and then of course you have the Vayne scaling on up, whereas Towson, much more explosive in their fights, do have potential for those long winded affairs as well, since you do have the Jinx and Seer, you get some excitement resets, can bode really well for your team fight here. So it's a little bit of a yin and yang, despite both these teams probably falling in yin.
Yeah, now, just as a heads up for the audience, is that even though the timer at the bottom of the screen does say 0, we're suspecting either someone is playing on a potato or a PC, or that we may need to reconnect, so it will still be just a little bit before we're actually into game. Just want to make sure that is communicated with everyone, because yes, the timer does say 0. And while 0 is often the hero in most cases, not right now. But I
Yeah.
perfectly agree with you there. Go for about a prediction right now is a bit of a coin flip, but there is fun to be had in coin flip predictions, anyways, because it can be luck, it can be fun, or maybe you're just a prophet masquerading as a caster. Nobody really knows until we get to the end result, now do we?
And we'll definitely get a lot of the general idea of who might win this series based off of this game, because we all know that the first foot you put forward, typically you want it to be the best. It's usually how you can get a feel for your opponents to know how the series is going to come out. Here we are onto the rift for game number 1, getting things a little bit faster. Very standard 5-man plan from both. Very slow.
Yes, now we do have that wonderful zoom view here, seeing the entire rift at once. And as you mentioned, it's more or less a 5-point start. It's a little bit modified on the side of Towson, which is once again red side. Blue side is JWU yellow.
Yeah, I love how the
Ooh.
emotes, even if you zoom out this far, they don't properly scale. So you just see like the biggest just blotch of Mastery 7 flashing over the map. It's like, that's the entire size of the Dragon Pit. It's like, yes.
Well, spectator bugs and small indie companies, not much more to be said about that, but yes. Seeing the scaling issues can always be amusing. Now both junglers are starting on their red buffs by the looks of it. And so that means they're pathing in different directions and playing to different lanes early on at least.
Yep, everybody is chilling on out. Both these junglers starting topside, recognizing that bot lane, even though it is a battle of the scalers here and maybe not the most aggressive of lanes on either side, it is still a very important lane. You do want to hit that level 2 first, you don't want to fall behind, especially if you happen to be Galaxy and resting here in this bot lane, because every time we see those Jinx rockets come out, you're probably going to be eating one of those autos, and they can add up over the course of the laning phase.
Yes, now it can add up because that's why they call it chip damage, because you're just chipping away at them. Speaking of a bit of chip damage, we do see Rex Torres getting it down onto Dust Venus in that top lane. And a quick rundown of the rosters and how many names I can butcher in one go. So on JWU, we have a Dust Venus 4019, Delgo, Step on a Lego 71, Galaxy Gun, and Resting Spaz. And on the side of Towson, we have Rex Torres, Love You Gently, X Para Yeet, X Easy X Dab, because you gotta say the full thing there. Azina and 6 PM there. But we do have a gank here by Gragas, and Azir is able to get out of that pretty cleanly.
Yep, with just the state of the wave in the mid lane, this is an Azir who has that shuffle to get on out here, so Yeet's easy dab. Not in a ton of huge danger there. That's more of one of those ganks like, hey, I'm just gonna get a bunch of damage onto you for free, walk on my merry way. Maybe I make you below summoner. If not, well, now my mid laner has the better wave state and is feeling much better about themselves. A little early on that searing charge is going to be very costly here. Rex kind of like to finish off this kill. There's the flash.
Oh, he trades. He trades this, and that is a 1-for-1 trade in the top lane. Now, First Blood does go over to Rex, and more importantly, is able to deny the minions as well as he was able to get that tower, or the minions into tower there.
But very important. Just a bunch of action from these junglers all across the map. Not too surprising when it is Gragas J4, two great gankers in the early game. But like you said, that first blood and the minion difference going to be pretty big in this top lane, because Rex going to be coming on back with that full blasting one. Every bit of AP helps when you're against this Ornn, who tends to get pretty damn naturally tanky. And, you know, having some extra juice in the tank to do a bit of extra damage might mean you get another solo kill.
And the wave is pushing back into Rex there. So the one saving grace for Ornn is that he can build items in lane, which will help with his lane tempo overall. But still, it's never fun being down on your first back, because he came back with a here and refillable pots. But that said, we do have a bit of action here as Azina trades on the Galaxy Gun. Galaxy Gun taking the worst end of that trade there, while Resting Spaz tries to get a bubble burst down onto the enemy Lulu.
The Nami does have a deceptive amount of damage early on. We have Love You Gently just kind of chilling on a ward here. Galaxy Gun, you probably don't really want to walk into that.
Super.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could try and get some cheeky damage, but you're gonna kind of eat a fight for your troubles, which I don't personally recommend. Everything just gonna be sizzling on down here in the bot lane once again. There's a lot of just standing off, and right now, Wilson's bot lane gonna be coming out on top, especially in the CS department.
Yep, and that is the range advantage of Jinx. But Galaxy Gun going in on 6 PM pretty hard here. The exhaust is down. I don't think Galaxy gets it, and no, he doesn't. So that's a reset for the Jinx. And Love You Gently does not find the flag and drag. Resting Spaz does find the bubble. Should be able to swim her way out of this. And yes, Nami does get under the tower. Delgo is there as well, just for safety. But that should be first dragon heading over to Towson as well.
And just over-aggression here from JWU's bot lane. Going in way too deep to try and secure that kill. You get exhausted. It's not going to be an easy time. You were already down a bunch of CS. Now you're down even more CS in that kill. Elgo looking to contest this Ocean Dragon. Does have flash. Does have the body slam if they do want to try and contest with this. Gragas, thankfully, a very safe champion when it comes to contesting these. But going for the kill, it looks like. Dragon gonna reset as well. And here comes the cavalry.
Oh, okay, so the J4 did go down there, but Azina finally walks up as well. But this dragon should actually go over to JWU here. And Halson, I think they played that a little bit poorly by not bringing up the Jinx earlier to DPS the dragon.
And just letting it stall on out. Each one of those Ocean Dragon autos will be adding up over time, and that's what helped JWU get that return kill and just sneak away that dragon. They are going to be appreciating that. Just that little bit of extra oomph to help them get through some of these tough lanes. Just the top spot where they seem to be eating a lot of trades, but you can't really fault.
Yeah, sometimes you want to avoid the trades if you can, but it's ultimately up to the enemy if they want to take a shot at you or not. But that said, there is small CS discrepancies across the map. The biggest discrepancy being in this top lane in favor of the Akali, who's up, 16 CS right now? Yep. So, overall, kills are tied. There's a 500, 600 gold lead, and most of that is currently in the top lane as well, and on the 80 carries.
Just a bit of a spread of the gold all across the board here for both teams. You got to lead in one lane, you got a deficit in another. Nothing too huge, nothing too game-breaking. Flash over the wall with this final hour.
Ooh, okay, this Jinx's Polymorph is on a ward though. Duggo is there for the disengage. And I was holding my breath a little bit there because I was definitely ambitious coming out of Galaxy Gun flashing over that wall. Yeah. But did have the ultimate advantage on Azina there, so I can understand the ambitious call there.
Yeah, definitely something we do have the hindsight, or the global observer buff when it comes to that. Not quite the hindsight, and we have, of course, but in the moment. Ramblings aside, very aggressive here from Galaxy Gun in the bot lane. Is level 6 now, can look for those aggressive plays, but there definitely has to be a stop button at some point, because you can argue that a flash over the wall to try and dive the turret, maybe a little bit too aggressive.
It wasn't quite tower diving, but I do get your point there. If it continued on, I definitely think it would have been a bad call for Galaxy Gun, but luckily, Galaxy Gun recognized and pulled back, and has closed that CS discrepancy in the bot lane to about a wave and a half, maybe two, depending on the back timers. So right now, Towson is going for the second neutral objective of the game, the Rift Herald. Now, it's a 9-minute Rift Herald, so not extraordinarily early, but they are picking that one up cleanly.
And with these three members here in this top side, if they do so please, they can look to try and dive this top lane. Even with Delgo showing up here, they still have man advantage. Not anymore, since Step on a Lego has the warning and has the movement to come up. Nice little vision toggle. Nice time to get on out, and this should be an easy out unless they hard commit.
Yeah, they are hard committing onto Delgo there. And it makes sense. Once the Gragas had used Body Slam, there's no other escapes. So is it easy follow up with the Cataclysm, just lock him down. You have the Akali there with perfect execution, and just like that, they find themselves another kill, up 1.3k gold right now as well. So definitely extending their gold lead as the game goes on, which is always good to see.
And we'll see if they're able to really crack open a nice gold lead here. We have this aggressive positioning in the top here from Gravity. Just backing here is on that ward, and a Dust does have the teleport to come back to lane here. If they do complete that back, that does not seem to be the case.
That was a great Shurima shuffle there coming out of the Azir. Now it's the turn with... Okay, so both mid laners burn flash. Now we have the actual top lane as Gragas goes in here onto the Kali. The Kali is in the Shroud, looking to make it out, and she do it. It's going to be close. The knockup isn't quite there, but the fire-breathing goat is. And that's why it's the goat. Burns down the assassin.
Yep, it bait in the top lane there to help secure that kill. That was a very big point of pressure with CS lead with the first blood advantage. Now, gonna be neutralized a bit more. Does have the Rift Maker. I don't know why I forgot the name of that for a second, but does have the Rift Maker, which is going to be very key when it comes to sustaining through this matchup. Just get that extra sustain from the Omnivamp. So, we have a little bit of action coming up the bot lane here.
Yeah, you never really want to let a Vayne scale if you can avoid it. Now, Step on Lego is kind of hovering there as well. Now, Love You Gently will be there first, and Azina could be going on to Galaxy Gun early here, but the Nami is there to help with the speed boost. We do
Teleport
see the
behind.
TP coming to the tower as well. Step on Lego is there. The poly
Great
comes
burst.
down. It's a bit of ultimates everywhere you look, and Xena is going to stay alive for just a little bit, just able to kite away from the Gragas. Now Lego is in trouble here. Now it's Malzahar goes down. The Akali just cleans up that fight like it's nothing.
And overcommitting there, a great bait though from Towson, recognizing, hey, they're probably going to be jumping our Jinx here. He was lying wait over the wall, and Love You Gravity combined with Azina, able to just really burst out Galaxy Gun there before they can do anything in that fight. And those 4 kills, just the one, they pick up the dragon as well, still have this Riptail for a bit more, and Towson climbing up to a bit of a comfortable 2k gold.
Yeah, 2.2k definitely feels pretty good at the 12-minute mark. And with this Rift Herald being dropped, it should secure the mid tower as well, which is always good to see, especially early on, because this is generally the hardest tower to crack. That should open up the map now for Towson, and they should look to swap pressure to either of the side lanes, though this Akali does seem pretty monstrous at the moment. Doesn't actually have a large goal lead over the Ornn, who was able to farm himself back into the game.
A lot of it was because Dust not TPing for that bot lane fight, just staying in that top lane, did narrow up the CS, but it does come. It's a lot of damage. Galaxy Gun going down for the 3rd time this game. You might see another kill here. Nope, just enough health bar to survive any potential dive from this bot lane.
Now Delgo could be looking for something here. He does have the body slam ready. Doesn't have the ultimate though, so I think that's prevented him from pulling the trigger, as the zap kept Azina safe just a little bit longer there.
And this gold lead in the bot lane now, nearly at 2,000 between the two AD carries. I mean, 2,000 is very noticeable in the 1 versus 1, but we're talking about pre-14 minutes here, Cyro, so there's going to be a full mythic and a very chunky component, whereas Galaxy Gun sitting on those bargain bin items, trying to finish up that shield bow here.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough for the Vayne right now, and the Jinx is feeling pretty good. And with that said about feeling good, we do have a bit of a pause. So, go for it. What do you think of the overall game state right now, seeing that Towson is about 4,000 gold up right now?
I mean, Towson has been making some really good moves when it comes to objectives here, when it comes to just kind of punishing the aggression in the bot lane there. Yes, they have had some slip-ups, especially that one mid-lane Shurima shuffle we saw try and come on out. And now they have this pretty fed, pretty farmed up Jinx, who can look to be a menace against this enemy team that does not really have the answers just quite yet when you look at JW's composition. Pretty short range, and might have a little bit of trouble getting on top of Xeno's Jinx if they're not able to get on top of Xena with their initial engage.
Yeah, it has felt like JW has had a little bit of issues getting onto the right targets or healing for the Vayne, because it seems like Galaxy Gun has been going down here fairly early on. And it does seem like we have the pause resolved, so we should be hopping back in the game here shortly. But we are actually going to stay on the casters just a little bit more, because why not? We have some pretty awesome faces here on the caster desk, if I do say so myself. So, besides Galaxy Gun's positioning, we'll say, because he has been caught out early on in these team fights, what do you think JW need to do better in order to get themselves back into this game overall?
JW, thankfully, they're not out of it quite yet. Yes, it is definitely a noticeable gold lead now, but it's not an insurmountable one, thankfully, for them. What they want to do, I mean, they have all these great ways to start off a team fight. You have Flash Body Slam, you have the Casket, you have the Horn, you have the Malzahar ulti as well. And we kind of want to be seeing them pulling the trigger here when it comes to these big fights, I feel, Cyro, because so far it's been kind of Galaxy Gun pulling a bit of a trigger, and hasn't been working out too well. But when we've seen the other members pull their ultimates off, whether it's Thorn, whether it's the Gragas. It's been working out a lot better for JWU.
Yes, I would like to see the Ornn be the primary engager for the side of JWU. Now, the Ornn Horn is a great CC ability. You can be CC'd out of the second half of it, but it happens. I would much rather see the Drag Assault saved for disengage or the Tidal Wave coming out of the Nami. I feel those are better disengage tools than the Ornn Horn. So Ornn should be grouping with his team around these objectives, because we do have the third dragon of the game being the Hex Tech Dragon, which means we do have the Hex Tech Soul for this game one.
In the bot lane, counter roam coming on out. The spot lane turret dangerously low. First turret has already been taken by Towson. This would put them at that 2-0 tower lead. Jinx for Zayna. Feeling pretty damn happy picking up extra gold from that turret, more CS. Right before this next dragon does come up here in about a minute 40ish. And this is shaping up to be a pretty damn strong Jinx, who might be pretty damn close to 2 items once we see that next dragon.
Yeah, now Duggo does have to use the ultimate just to buy a little bit of time. Love You Gently is there as well, but I think they will settle for the Rift Herald, though it's very, very close to resetting, so they do allow it to reset before going back on it, and I don't think Duggo should stick around.
Yeah, not an easy one to sell. There's 4 enemies and just one of you. I guess 2. You have a dust there. Still, definitely stacked against you. Second Herald of the game also. Towson. And look to just shove in this top lane. It is the last outer remaining. And it's only a dust up there right now who's probably in a lot of danger with this death squad coming on up.
Ooh, it is going to be a 4-man dive here. Can the Ornn Horn or the Goat survive this onslaught? It will be close. Now the tower is being focused. The Rift Herald will have tower aggro. And Jarvan goes in. It is a coming on to a dust. And he is living up to his namesake because he just got turned into a dust.
Yep, and that is now all outer turns picked up here by Towson. Sitting pretty damn well here going into the mid-game. Counter dive potentially shaping up here. The Predator has been popped. It is just a lone Azir. That does have the Emperor's Divide, however. That can make it a very hard sell here in the bot lane.
Yes, now it seems to be a return 4-man dive, but the Azir is able to sniff it out, and we do see the blue trinket also go down there as well. So now can Towson look to turn this fight around? The dragon is on the map. Both these teams want it. And a dust is left top lane just trying to clear it because they also got the T2 top tower there as well. So Towson looking fairly strong across the board right now, and the Kali is on the move.
They now have about a 6k gold lead in their pockets. Everybody is up against their respective opponent, melting through this dragon. Not too much JWU can be doing about it. Delgo does pop the Skyro's Bloom to say howdy ho. Dragon does die. Too much you can do there though.
Yeah, not too much he can do because it would probably be a suicide play regardless, and at this point you just don't want to give the enemy any extra gold. Now the beneficial thing here is that JW already has 1 dragon to their name, which means that the soul point is still a little ways off for the side of Towson, so they have room and time to get back into this game and start closing down the gold discrepancy, which has grown to mental math it about 6,500.
Yeah, which is a pretty damn huge amount for this point in the game. Only 18.5 minutes in. A bit of a doomsday scenario, and JWU, they're gonna really want to pull something off fast here. You can't just keep sitting around and letting these dragons fall, or God forbid, letting the Baron fall when that's up on the table. So you have the tools to make something happen. It's just all about pulling that trigger.
Yes, and pulling that trigger at the right time is very important because sometimes you can get baited into it at the wrong time. Yes, it has happened to me, which is why I took a moment there of recollection to realize that there are times where I've been baited. and I don't like it. I don't think anyone actually likes to be baited into poor fights, especially ones when they're behind and they're desperate to get back into this. But that said, so far the Azir hasn't really popped off, only has 1 kill participation on the entire side of Towson. So the Azir, I would like to see more in these team fights, get more participation, or control a side lane better and draw that pressure.
Siege is underway on this turret. A lot of range, and when you have a Jinx Azir, you tend to attack turrets pretty fast and pretty hard. Everybody's just kind of squaring off here in the mid lane, waiting for something to happen. There's no real objectives on the board quite yet. Baron did just spawn, but I don't think either of these teams are really in the position to take said Baron unless they have a massive advantage. Go find the top lane, see if they're able to lock.
Ooh, okay, so there wasn't much to call on that tail in the fight because it was just chain CC all day long onto Rexorus there, and the Akali does go down, giving over that small gold bounty. Now, in the meantime, the T2 mid tower went down, and that means Towson is up, what, 5 towers? Yeah, they have yet to lose a tower on the side of Towson, so they are still firmly in control of the map. They are now looking bot side, while the Jinx is able to get a few autos onto that mid inhibitor tower as well. So Towson definitely looking to be in a strong position right now, and could look towards the Baron in all honesty.
Oh, might see something in the bot lane here. It is 2 versus 1. Diving a Mel's heart can be a little bit tricky though. With that monolithic vision, so looks like that won't be the call, especially now that there's no wave to really back you up. And definitely a little bit of calm before the storm sort of vibes right now here, Cyro. Everybody's just kind of packing on up, buying their items, and waiting for the next big.
Yes, what's surprising to me though is that a lot of the vision is still bot side. I would have liked to see it moved up around Baron, and Towson is far enough ahead that they can threaten Baron and sustain it fairly well, I would say. And then maybe look to take a team fight right off of that or on a turn. But it feels like they're just playing for the Hextech Soul as the next dragon is spawning in a minute.
Yep. More than enough time to put your mark in the river, get that scuttle. Able to catch out Rex. Does have Blast Cone though, so now a bit of a no-you play coming out here. Big Death Rush, Galaxy Gun has no flash.
Ooh, okay, Galaxy Gun is slowed by the Whimsy there, and well, the Galaxy Gun's no more. It got smelted down and sent to the gray screen. Now the Gragas is in trouble as well, flashes away, still picked up by the Kali, and now it's just Venus trying to walk this one out. The Ornn can't really get too far, and the Cataclysm on top of Resting Spaz, well, causes the flash away out of the Nami, and now Towson will turn to Baron after picking up 3 quick kills in succession there.
And now this gold lead definitely has blown out of control. It's going to be extra exacerbated here when you pick up this Baron as Towson, and just a matter of marching it on down, checking the checkboxes, and taking down some Nexus turrets, taking down some inhibitors, because the world's your oyster, and this game is yours to lose.
Yes, it is theirs to lose. So Dragon is up on the map, and we do see 4 members of Towson hovering bot side. We do see Rexorus backing right now. Does have TP to get into these fights quickly. Already sitting on 2 items and boots, so a fairly strong Akali gets an additional blasting wand, and pretty scary. Pretty scary Akali, I'm going to say right now.
Definitely high on the spook factor. 5, 3, and 2. Burst out anyone on this JWU team, and JWU, I mean, their book's kind of closing in this game. It feels, Cyro, like they haven't really made any schmoves. They made that one schmove into the top lane to pick off Rex, and it feels like that's about it. And now that you're facing down this massive 9k gold difference and the Baron buff, yeah, it's going to be really hard for you to make anything at all happen. What happens is that going to happen.
I like the preemptive flash there, but Xena's still in trouble here potentially. And that's a lot of damage coming down, but it doesn't matter. They pick up the kill on Gragas. And now Resting Spaz is next, and that is Sushi over. So Meltar, he's under the T2 tower. He does get the Nether Ground on the Jinx. The Jinx is being shielded. and could go down here, but I think does actually indeed go down there. So it's a bit of a 2v2 in the mid lane as the horn comes through.
Doesn't hit anyone.
It's a bit of a whiff there. So now it's Galaxy Gun under pressure here. The Akali gets the execute. Great Cataclysm. The Ornn destroys the Cataclysmic wall, but it doesn't matter as the Akali picks the kill under the mid inhibitor tower.
And what feels like too little too late, we finally see JW pulling some triggers across the map here. Multiple locations, but there's not enough. You give up basically everyone on your entire team to get one kill in return. Yes, it's a shutdown, but you're going to lose that mid lane inhibitor. You're going to lose this bot lane inhibitor. I didn't lose the bot lane inhibitor, but it's definitely looking like it here, Cyro. As I'm going to miss.
Yeah, the Shurima Shuffle. I guess that's what you call a battle dance move there, because, well, you weren't really killing anyone with it. But now that Gragas is just flat out dead, the Akali goes in with the Wild Growth on top as well. The Galaxy Gun is dead. The Sushi could be up next because that's all it is for this Akali. Just another snack to be had. So it's a 9-3 Akali. Rextra here doing the work for the side of Talsa, but a huge knockup by the Ornn. That gets 4, and they do get a couple kills. Now it's up to the Malzahar, who is starting to clean up this fight. Now there's 2 low members there, but I think the disengage has been called. They will walk away, and so far, JWU Yellow holds on for another fight.
Definitely some nice shutdowns being picked up there in that exchange. Of course, they also kind of lost their base in that entire air, so not the most worthwhile of trades. We'll see what they're able to do with this. Small breath of life. Lego will land that body slam, but great. Forced to get on out.
Ooh. This was what I was worried about when I saw the Predator Gragas, is that this Gragas will be squishy. And if he can't assassinate anyone, he's going to be left out to die. And at 5 deaths, he's definitely died a fair amount. Now Galaxy Gun is picking a fight with the Zenith there. Love You Gently as well. Cataclysm over the wave, and it's a slam down with the Gragas there. The Ornn Horn comes through, knocks up 2. The Shurima Shuffle gets 1, and it's a brawl across the map right now. Ornn gets a Zuna. And it's a bit of a chaotic fight. And does the Malzahar live? No, he doesn't. Whew! These fights are chaotic, and this should be the game win now for the side of Taliesin. They have an open base to walk right through, and death timers, there's still at least 10 seconds on the nearest member.
And also, gonna be taking a fairly convincing game number 1 here. JWU, it feels like Taliesin just kind of had their book, had the ability to pull the trigger in a lot of these fights, get the snowball going in their favor.
Yeah, so that is game 1 here between JWU and Taliesin, and for the most part, I was fairly impressed with how Taliesin played this game. They did a great job early on. They snowballed their small leads into bigger advantages overall, and you could just see that gold graph chart, and it's pretty staggering being ahead 14k by the end of the game, especially in 27 minutes. That's a lot of gold.
That's a hell of a lot of gold, yeah. Because you can see it started off slowly, but then around that 12-minute mark, I believe that was the second dragon fight. That's when it starts blowing wildly out of control here for Cyro, and kind of leads to the situation that we saw at the end, where it's like, yes, it did feel like Taliesin definitely taking their time a little bit, taking things slowly for a team that was that far ahead, but they kind of couldn't be stopped, so an unstoppable force.
Yeah, it's an unstoppable force is definitely one way of putting it, especially since Taliesin never lost a tower that game. So they have definitely set the bar in this series and the team to beat. So I think our predictions are probably going to swing in favor of Taliesin, and we will find out in a bit. But right now, we are going to throw it to a break because I need to grab a drink of water and get ready for the next game in this pretty banger series so far.
I need an angel after what you did. the devil. You mess with my head. You lied to my mother. You lied to my friends. You said that you'd be there, but this never ends. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost. You're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. You're just a ghost inside my head. Oh, you're just a ghost inside my head.
Welcome back to the first series of the night. I'm Cyrostims, and my co-caster is Goferino here. Now, we just got back off break from game one between Towson University and Johnson Wales University, where it decidedly and convincingly went over to Towson. Now, they were up over 14,000 gold at the end there, so they are the team to beat in this series. So go for it. Do you have any adaptations that JWU Yellow will need to make in this game too?
I think JWU, the main thing they have to do to approach this game too differently is kind of just change how they approach it from like a macro sort of level, because it did kind of feel like that after the laning phase they weren't really sure what to do. It felt like they were a little bit too passive, not really making anything happen except for once it was too late. And I do want to see a bit more of that trigger happy just willingness from the appropriate members to start up on fights, because we did also have some criticisms for Galaxy Gun definitely getting a little bit too aggressive in that bottom lane when it was not really too favored for them. Of course, new game, new you, and this is JW's big chance to come back in the series, because if not, then they're done for the night here and they will be packed up, going home 0-2.
Yes. Now, overall, in terms of records, these teams are fairly close, where Towson has a 2-2 record, and so far JWU has a 1-2 record with a game being rescheduled. So this is week 6 action, and their records are fairly close. So I'm expecting that JWU may have just had an off game, and they could come back just as strong in game 2 as Towson was in game 1. We will find that out, though, when we get into Champ Select, which should be coming up pretty soon. Now, if you were JWU, what draft adaptations would you have to make? Because it definitely seemed like there was a few problematic champions on the side of Towson that just got too far ahead.
Um, I would definitely not draft as hard of the bot lane, because it did feel like that Galaxy Gun not really able to do all of too much. They can try and draft a more aggressive AD carry. There is Tristana available if you do want to go for that much more early game Unga Bunga sort of style compared to the Bane. That'd be my biggest thing. Otherwise, across the board, it felt like the draft was overall pretty fine. Just some small tweaks here and there potentially, and both these teams will be running it back on the same side, so it's not like they're going to be having to deal with any potential shenanigans with the side swap when it comes to changing up your pick ban strategy. It is going to be the same as last game. You're just down on match point.
Yeah, I would actually like to see the Akali get taken off the board because it's Akali. You just get rid of the champion. There's very little counterplay, I feel, to Akali right now. She's just very, very annoying, even if it's not the Turbo Chem Tank quasi bruiser build nonsense that was in the meta not too long ago. The Akali's still an assassin, still has way too much mobility and damage in her kit already. And we saw in game 1, it was just too much for JW to deal with. I feel like the Jinx is manageable in almost any game state as long as you can get on her, which they were able to do. The Akali, I would say you do need to ban that out. Maybe let the Nunu through, because Nunu isn't the best scaler. Great early game jungler, not huge at scaling. So that would probably be one ban adaptation I would like to see coming out of these teams. But for Towson, I think they need a stronger mid laner. Azir just didn't seem to have the impact early, and didn't really have an impact until after 20 minutes, it felt like. But at that point, as long as you showed up and got an assist, that's all you had to do, because your teammates were already blowing everyone up. So yeah, maybe bench the Azir. There was nothing wrong with the Azir from as far as I could tell. It just wasn't putting in as much work as the rest of the team was. So that would be my only real suggestion there for the side of Towson.
Yeah, you could definitely argue that. Although at some point, like you said, you just kind of had to show up to those team fights, and props to Towson for not having to get too nitty and gritty with that Azir. No need to really overexert yourself as we do finally hop into the champion select here. Both these teams once again on their reprising sides from game number 1. And we'll see if your predictions for the bans came true, Cyro. I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, they do have time here to work with. And so far, it is the NECC, which was one of the bans from game 1 as well. So not too surprising there. And it seems like the graphics are always going to be fun.
It's always a finicky thing to deal with, low client,
Yes.
and then you're having to do things on top of it that rely on it. So, I mean, my heart goes out to the people who have to try and program all this stuff. That Akali, though, we're talking about taking away from Rex this game, so won't be able to be that menace. And the Jinx as well from Azena. We'll see how that shakes up the picks here in the bot lane, since Jinx still that super blindable pick, and it's going to be the Jax here in the B1.
Okay. I wasn't expecting this many adaptations, but seeing the Jinx and the Akali ban do make sense. That does mean that the Nunu does go through and is instantly grabbed here by Love You Gently. The Gragas is also banned out from Delgo, so Delgo will need to be on a new champion this game. And will hover. Okay, does go with the J4 here. We saw the J4 was useful, and will always have early game utility as well. And also a Diana. So this is a very short range melee composition coming out of JWU, but it is being matched by the side of Towson right now, which I find is extremely interesting.
Yep, all melee champions so far. Not a single ranged character in sight so far, at least. We're probably going to break that, though, once the bot laners do lock in. There's like almost no pure melee bot laners that you typically see. There are some there. Either way, though, looks like the call right now going to be banning away some of those comfort picks in the solo lanes, whether it be for the 80 carries here.
Ooh, okay, so they have chosen to pinch the 80 carry pool for the side of Towson, but it seems like the 80 carries don't really matter when you just go with an APC that's left open. Now, I'm assuming this will be a Syndra bot. They could switch it up or role swap or lane swap, whatever you want to call it. But I think that will be a Syndra bot lane, which is not something I have casted a lot of. So it's a bit of a new experience for me, which I'm definitely looking forward to. But I have played against it. It's fairly annoying. You poke with the spheres because it's just how you play Syndra. You poke, and then you get to level 6, and then you just blow up a target. And with the Nami as well, I believe her E buff on top of your ult will actually proc each all 3 times. I'm not 100% sure on this interaction, but if that's how it works, then that will be an insane amount of damage coming out of the Syndra ultimate there, and fairly disgusting. But the bot lane for JWU is the Jhin and Vel'Koz. So a lot of range, a lot of poke, and a lot of safety. But they are immobile. So they are gankable because they don't have dashes to get out of the world's biggest snowball coming out of the Nunu.
Both these bot lanes going to be pretty damn immobile here, Cyro, and both these junglers can be eyeing up this bot lane if they do want to pick up some nice and easy kills, if there happens to be no flashes available. I made for some easy mincemeat. Of course, you have options all across the board, because mid lane definitely going to be a bloodbath here between the two assassin/bruisers for Para and Stepan. And top lane, it'd be mostly here for JWU if you're looking to gank that top lane to get this Jack snowballing. Rex as the Cho'Gath, more than happy to kind of just be chilling there in the top lane, farm on out, and stop any sort of shenanigans sort of scaling coming from this Jax.
Yes, so Jack to the TP does mean he wants to win lane, so it is up to Rex to play safe, absorb that pressure as best as he can. And we are going to look at the Keystone Ruin choices so far. We do see the Lethal Temple versus the Grasp of the Undying. It's more or less what expected. I have seen a fair amount of Conqueror coming out of Jax just for a little bit of the sustained potential, but Lethal Temple is a very viable choice because there's already so many attack speed steroids in Jax's kit as well.
And just having that extra range can be so obnoxious. But, of course, on the flip side, Rex with that Grasp dying, definitely looking to just tough things out. Very typical in the jungle. Nothing too surprising here as well when it comes to the rune setups.
Yes, we have the Conqueror and the Phase Rush. Now Nunu with Phase Rush is it's just like any champion with Phase Rush. They proc it, and then you can't catch them, or they chase you down with it. So it will be interesting to see how Nunu is able to utilize that, because otherwise he could be fairly squishy. I know Aftershock can also work on Nunu or Predator as well, but now onto the mid laners. We do have the Electrocute for the Diana and the Lethal Temple for Yone. Now these are definitely standard
Hmm.
Keystone rune choices.
And with the green tree secondary here, just to give those extra resists to deal with the others all in, I do respect it because there's going to be a lot of burst in this mid lane, and we can see that by the double bone plating here. Bot lane will be interesting since both these carries, the Jin and the Syndra, won't be the stars this game. It's going to be much more so on the laners, I feel. But they can't set up things, and then especially with these rune choices, if they're able to get their burst down, if they're able to get in range, to get any sort of CC down, to chain with a gank, to chain with a stun, what have you, that can help set up their team here, Cyro.
Yeah, I do like. Speaking of these supports, now we do have the Meteor and the Airy coming out from the Nami. So Meteor on AP supports is fairly common. Just get that extra poke and chip damage across. And if you're lucky, the kill, because you never expect the delayed meteor hit until it hits you, and then you wonder what kills you, and you spam in all chat about how broken the game is. Or maybe I'm just projecting. But that aside, I didn't see anything outstanding or, raised eyebrow worthy in terms of keystones. It is what I expected. And when it is what I expected, it means it's going to come down to execution, because there's very little room for outside of the box or surprise strategies to come through.
And the jungler's gonna be something to keep our eyes on here because the J4 and the Nunu, both big early game gankers. The Nunu, known for the world's biggest snowball, can just charge that up and run down the lane, can run down the river, can be really hard to dodge if you happen to be a melee in close range after you use your dash. Can be very hard to dodge if you happen to be a mobile bot lane, but of course on the flip side, the J4 Flagon Dark is super tried and true. You lock down the bot lane easy peasy with that. You can lock down the mid lane if Hera has had to use their dash to try and get on out of things. So these junglers will have a lot of agency when it comes to dictating the early map here, I feel, Cyro.
Yes, in terms of map presence and impact, junglers are the first and foremost ones to be able to do that, followed by the supports who can easily roam and get pressure elsewhere. But junglers, their job is to impact the map and to get those neutrals as well. And speaking of neutrals, I don't think there's anyone quite better than a Nunu to take the neutrals. You have the early chomp, or devour. You just really melt them. It's like having a double smite early on with the Q on the Nunu, and then you also have the Cho'Gath ultimate as well on top of it, and that's just nutty objective true damage there. And if Taliesin ever loses a neutral to a 50-50, that would be, to say the least, embarrassing.
Yeah, can be a little bit embarrassing, of course. Sometimes in the heat of action, things get a little bit dicey and hard to do. Maybe you don't have that consume. Maybe you don't have the keys available. Who knows? We'll know once we do get into game and see any of those potential fights or skirmishes do break out here, Syra, because we've been talking about the junglers a lot, and very righteously so, because both these team comps, they can get the ball rolling with a bit of early momentum here. You have snowballing potential in JWU's top and mid lane, whereas Taliesin has the snowballing potential in the mid and bot lane themselves. So expect to see much more action early.
Yes, the early game action always critical to setting your team up for success. I don't think we'll see any level 1 shenanigans either. That is quite possible with both of these teams, though a little bit more likely with the CC coming out of Towson, especially if you get a snowball or a rupture. There's a lot of knock-up CC on the side of Towson, level 1, that they can take and will be viable for an invade. So I'm going to expect JW to do a fairly even start overall. Yeah, so predictions for this game go for it. Do you favor one side or the other right now?
I mean, going off of game number one, it's definitely favored to Towson. They have a lot of agency this game, to set up in the bot lane, to set up with their jungler. And we saw how big that could be, especially in the bot lane when it came to snowballing Azina out of control. Same applies with this jungler. We do see those ganks coming on out. Of course, we're going to at least have to wait a fewish minutes for that, for the junglers to at least hit level 2 before they try and even consider ganking this part.
Yeah, we do see more or less a 5-point start. Now it's a little bit modified on the side of Towson as they have doubled up 2 of their points. But they're still watching all the same aspects of the map, making sure they play safe and get the appropriate wards down before they reset and look to set up for the first clear of the game.
Last time we saw both junglers starting in top side. I don't know if we'll see that again this time. Seems like both sides the call after they place their free level 1 wards back to pick up the sweeper. Very classic trick where if you just immediately run it, drop that trinket back, and then buy the red trinket, well, you essentially have a free ward to start the game, so that's always a nice little thing to get a leg up with. It does help you scout out the river here in this circumstance.
Yes, it just prevents the second buff being stolen out from under you. That's why you drop that first ward there. And now we already see the Diana getting some damage onto the Yone, but the Yone does trade back fairly effectively as well.
Gonna be a very bloody mid lane, I feel. Especially since both do have Ignite here. Step on a Lego and Yeet's Easy Dab. And look for some big action here. They might try and at least wait for level 6. Both these champions can all in pre-level 6, but they do at least want a little bit of sauce on their pizza before they really hard commit to any sort of all-in here. It's definitely a bit of non-metaphor, but it does get the point across, I guess.
Yes, does get the point across. Now Rexorus here already has a bit of an HP lead over Jax. But really, it's Duggo here with the level 2 gank. Does get exhausted, so they should be able to just walk this one out or look to trade back onto it. But that is a pretty damaging 4th shot. Now Dust is taking an aggressive trade here. He does have the Ignite, so he could go for the kill here. But a good rupture coming out of the Cho'Gath, and that is going to be first blood once again, going over to Rexorus there without it being traded back this time. Maybe a little bit greedy, and now Yone is trying to make the play happen as well. 6 p.m. goes for the bubble, doesn't quite find it, and just like that, all 3 lanes start getting in on the fighting.
Yep, Dust trying to go for the very classic Jax level 2 move there, where you charge up that counter strike, walk into the enemy, eat up a bunch of minion autos that helps charge up the damage on that counter strike, and then you just commit either with a leap strike or you are in their face. That's been pretty aggressive. That's a great scatter the weak double stun to follow on up. And then you combine it here with 6 PM's now heal. It's gonna give a lot of deceptive sustain to Xana and 6 PM in this matchup, and with the current pushing, look at that Nunu in the river here for Love You Gently. I'd like to start rolling one up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He should be able to find Galaxy Gun here unless they clash. And great scatter of the week, and this should be a dead Jhin, and that's exactly what it is. Galaxy Gun no more. Rest of Spaz does get locked up as well, but should be able to walk the tower and drops the Ignite on the Nunu just to be safe. But overall, a great gank coming out of Love You Gently on this Nunu. And I can definitely start to see why it was banned away from him in game 1.
Yeah, we're able to get quite a nice value gank there in the bot lane, forcing out Flash and the Ignite from resting. Getting a kill. He'll go. Does have something to say in this top lane. Is spotted out. Counter-Strike going to start this on up. Pushes out that flag and drag.
Yeah, the Cho'Gath just couldn't do much in that fight there, because that will beat the Jax Ignite down. But overall, Cho'Gath is still ahead. Up 10 CS, has a kill already, so the lane still in Cho'Gath's favor overall. That said, that is a burn flash now and is going to be regankable. Yone getting a lot of chip damage down onto Step on a Lego 71. I wonder what happened to the first 70 people who stepped on the Lego.
That's not something pretty. Look, flag and drag.
Ooh, the Ignite is down. Yone is being focused here. He does snap back to reality. With the flash away, he could look to get out of here. He doesn't get out of it. Diana picks the kill, and a gank top results in the death of the Grandmaster Jax as well. So overall, Towson going punch for punch in these kills. Still up a kill overall. And this Jax is in a world of hurt, but they do have Dragon priority and should be able to pick up this first Infernal Dragon.
Yep, so far these junglers definitely making their mark here on the map. 4 out of 5 kills this game have had either one of these junglers involved here, Cyro, so gonna be looking to keep that going. I think there's gonna be too much action here in this bottom lane. Logo does have to be careful, should have flag and drag to get on out. Full buffer there on that Scatter of the Weak to stay alive, but kind of a little bit close, for sure.
Yes, and we do see that Rextris immediately used the Feast on a minion there, just to get one of those 6 early stacks built up. And with double the CS that Jax has, I don't blame him right now, being the opportunistic ultimate there.
Oh, good bubble. I think this might finish off the kill. Yep, it does. 6 PM taking that one, and Elxie does not have any real gas left in the tank aside from this shot. Delco is making their way on around though here, Cyro, and can look for a big play.
Oh, they can definitely look for a big play here, but I think he was stunned up by the Scatter of the Weak there, so Delco is able to find his way in onto 6 PM or Azina. 6 PM, she's been doing a great job with these bubbles and just supporting her APC or ADC regardless. So, great job out of the Towson bot lane so far. Staying safe, absorbing pressure, and just look at that damage come across. Now, Restless Fast is caught up by the bubble as well. Does get hit by the Scatter Weak and is just over 200 HP, but Azina has no more mana and looking to reset right now.
But you're feeling pretty good about that because it's not like resting's okay. Biggest snowball being charged on up, and there is no flash here for Step on a Lego.
Yeah, so Step on a Lego able to sidestep the snowball, but not the fate sealed as it comes across, and it doesn't quite seal the fate, but eventually the kill does go over to the Yone, and right now it is the top laner trading pretty heavily. Rex taking a good chunk of damage there, but Dust is the one in danger. Doesn't able to dodge the rupture there, so Rex will just be able to feast on the Grandmaster, and now that's a 3-1 Cho'Gath, and this top lane is getting into a bit of a precarious state.
Yep, and that's not something you'd really expect because it does take the Ignite as this Jax. Delgo, I don't know if you really have the firepower to get through this tanky boy Cho'Gath. To not do that, but it's not how you really expect this top lane to go. Yes, the Cho'Gath can definitely fight off the Jax early on and does have some kill threat in the earlier stages of the game, but this is domination that we're not exactly expecting here, Cyro. And just maybe just eating up too much damage there from various sources, maybe just getting a little bit too cocky with their trades. Either way, though, it's not really been working out for them. They're paying the price.
Well, Rextris just has a lot of sustain in his kit, and you can see that the Grandmaster's Bite is popped, but it doesn't matter. Rex should be able to pick up this kill. Picks it up pretty safely there. The was getting low with the Ignite burning down, but either way, double CS, 4 kills. The Cho'Gath is online and just feasting into a state of gluttony, I would say, with how big this Cho'Gath is getting.
All in. He'll pick up off camera here. Towson just kind of winning across the front here. Our observer zooming in on that dead body, rubbing salt into the wound, maybe. Maybe a bit of post-mortem honoring. Result is still the same though, Cyro. Every single lane, including the jungle, is up against their respective opponent here for Towson. And we're already at a 4K gold lead pre-10 minutes. That's pretty damn big.
Yeah, yep. I agree with you there. It's a pretty big goal lead right now. Love You Gently was also able to pick up the Rift Herald, also getting an invade going down. So overall, Towson will be
Oh,
feeling pretty
double
good,
kill in the
but
bot
a
lane.
double kill in the bot lane right now. It was, I believe, one for Delgo, one for Resting Spaz there. The Disintegration Ray coming out doing, oh, sorry, not even level 6 yet, so no ultimate there for the Vel'Koz. Just the Cataclysm and the
Mid
critical.
lane.
And now the Yone, oh, it gets the shields, get the vision drop in bush. Should be able to run out, but the Jax is there as well. The Nunu is there for a bit of a buffer. I don't know if
Oh
Yone
no,
can
you're behind
survive.
enemy lines.
It's a mission impossible. He does get the blast cone. He's over the wall. He's backing there. No.
Wait,
no
smite
back
him.
there.
This okay.
Okay. The flash cure does come through, but either way, that was a good chase by the Yone. Definitely forcing Delgo to use summoners. The Jax also use flash, so well worth it for the Yone. And once again, JWU have dragon priority and
Oh,
moving
you
up
have to
for
watch
it.
out here.
But a great
Should be a
strategy
kill.
lead, and yeah, as I said, should be a kill. One Galaxy Gun stays alive just a little bit, but still goes down. Delgo's now got caught up by the bubble. He's getting poked down. Has to
There's
get
no
over the
flash.
wall, but without flash, I don't think he can do it. But Flag and Drag is in time. And now the dragon should go over to Towson, but maybe Resting Spaz could get the snipe steal over the wall. It will be close.
It's resetting,
He
actually.
He got it. The Vel'Koz got the dragon off the mini reset that occurred.
Okay. Not the result we expected. But JWU, they do get those 2 big kills in the bot lane, transition that to kill Hera Yeats Easy Dab in the mid lane, and do get the dragon off the back of it. So in the end, a 3 for 2, and you get the dragon. Definitely worth. But could have been better. Could have been worse.
Could have been better, could have been worse. Either way, I would still say that Towson came up ahead there.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. See, they're able to continue this momentum because gold lead has actually grown now to about a 5k gold differential. A lot of it because of the kill advantage, but then also we just see CS gaps across the board. Okay, good way to stop the curtain call and the tectonic fissure. You're knocking up anyone in this bot lane, so I think the Towson's bot lane, they do stay alive. Mid lane happens to be the place.
Yeah, so the Rift Herald won't kill the tower, but they will be able to get at least 2 plates off of it. So still worthwhile because it went down mid, and I don't think Rexorus needs any help taking or sieging this top lane tower so far.
Yep. Oh, that's just casually 4 plates. Nice all in the mid lane, and it is going to be a bit of a party.
Oh, okay, so the Flying Drag doesn't find the knockup there. Lucky Gently is taking
Absolute Zero.
The Absolute Zero comes
Great,
down.
8 sealed.
Cataclysm is there as well. And it could be a clean 2-0 here for the side of Towson. But Delgo is able to flag and drag his way to safety.
It should just be a nibble.
No mana. He doesn't
Nibble.
have the mana, but he can just
Oh, there's no
run him
mana.
down there. And with the Frostfire Gauntlet, I don't think Dust Venus was getting away anytime soon.
The Dust Venus just too far behind Rex in this top lane. 6-1 as this Cho'Gath, has the plated steel caps, has the Frostborn Gauntlet, and you're just sitting on those components. Yes, you are the Grandmaster Duelist, but you're not exactly in the best spot to be dueling right now, to say the least. Turret playing about to fall. We did see that top lane turret sneaking off the back of that solo kill. Mid lane turret is also pretty damn low. Bot lane turret also pretty damn low. Towson got a lot of structures to be picking up.
Yes, so they should be able to get the... Oh, okay. So, ooh, that damage from the Scatter Weak is absolutely massive. The flash forward was definitely aggressive there. Has the unleashed power, but
No
wasn't
curtain call
in
available
range
quite
for it.
yet.
So now there's 4 men coming down from JW, looking for a dive opportunity here. And Delgo goes in. The curtain call comes down as well. Delgo is actually dropped from the unleashed power. They trade 1 for 1.
Oh,
Rex
here's
is here
Joey.
as well. The Cho will feast on the Jin. Well, I didn't really have any time to say anything else because Resting Spaz, well, he's taking a vacation to the gray screen for the time being.
And, now at 14.5 minutes, it's about a, 9k gold lead. Nothing too big.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, nothing too big, just 9k
not like
gold.
you have like 150% of what your opponent's gold is. Just,
It's pretty big.
yeah, it's pretty damn huge. This is kind of game ending at this point. Yes, you have those 2 dragons. Yes, you have been able to respond with some kills, but across the board, you're behind in CS, behind in turret plates, behind in turrets, behind in kills, gold, and you're gonna need a little bit of a miracle. This is one way to get it started off. Committing to that.
Ooh, the Fate Seal comes through.
Up.
Delgo is there as well. This is Cataclysm from a great flash out of Yone. And now they're looking to turn this fight. Sin is there. The absolute zero comes out. Doesn't get the killing damage, but still, that is plenty of pressure coming out of House in there, as they did get the mid tower there as well.
Furthering their gold lead here, you pick up a kill, you pick up a turret, almost pick up a second kill to boot. JW can't really do too much except watch in horror. Dragons up in about 20 seconds. Thing is, JW does not really have any legs to stand on when it comes to contesting this. Maybe they get a lucky steal like last time. Who knows?
I think right now they just give up dragons, try and farm your lanes and get gold back into your pockets, because you do have at least that 10-minute buffer before dragons are even with you right now. With that said, it is going to be Taliesin who picks up the second Rift Herald of the game. He also moved down as 5 towards the dragon, and I think this dragon will be secured. No lucky steals this time for Resting Spaz, though Yone potentially caught out here. Isn't locked down just yet.
They don't have the damage.
Absolutely massive. The Rexter comes out, and that is Delgo going down. Now the Lego.
You're just tickling this Cho'Gath.
Lego is going to go down, and now Resting Spaz has to flash, but it's a flash to nowhere. Maybe the gray screen as the scatter of the week comes through, and what can I say? The weak have been scattered in this game.
Yeah. Even when at the start of the fight, when they were pretty grouped up, started running away pretty quick when they realized, oh hey, we kind of did not land enough initial CC on this Yone from NECC tab to really finish them off here. And oh no, Galaxy. Yeah, that's like 40% of your health bar. It's another 20 to just die.
Yeah, Galaxy Gun just gets ignited there at the end and will pay the price for it. So the T2 tower should go down here, but no, a Scout of the Week instead chunks out Delgo. Delgo managing to stay alive so far, but either way, cannot stay longer to defend the tower. Luckily, there's no immediate wave.
Moonfall in the bot lane.
Moonfall comes out. This is a 4v2, and the Nuna goes down, but Rexers without mana can't do much here, especially when he's locked inside that Cataclysm. And that is a large gold bounty going over towards the Jax. But regardless, that's still a 3.5k gold lead for Rexers in this top lane, despite just giving 1,000 gold over to Jax.
Yep. How far ahead Taliesin is. They almost take down that bot lane inhibitor turret, thanks to good old Herald. All in here. I think one of these players is a little bit further ahead than the others. There, Yeats Easy Dab. Flexing on them haters. Let's call it that. Waltzing on out.
Yeah, he also has the life shield bow there as well, so I think he would have been just fine. And very, very scary because it's not quite a 2-item Yone, but it is a Yone on a team that is already ahead. Now we have to remember, this is only an 18-minute game, so Taliesin is very, very ahead. As just like that, Stefan Lego is deleted by the Unleashed Power. Now Resting Spaz gets knocked up, double knockout comes through, and now Rexers is just trying to run down Galaxy Gun. The curtain will be called, but not by the Jhin here, as Rexers... Well, there's the feast. There's the dead 80 carry. And with 3 dead, definitely is going to get a crack at the base here for the side of Taliesin.
Yep. At least they got an objective bounty in that top lane. Adust kind of recognizing, yeah, I don't think we win this 2 versus 4 base defense. I'll just keep this up. It's like, yeah, you do you, buddy. Spirit of the series actually here for JWU, funnily enough. I don't think it's gonna be enough though.
Yeah, so It's so early in the game that Baron isn't even up yet, but in 20 seconds it will be, and you can already tell that Towson is looking for that Baron as the greatest snowball comes into view there. And yeah, there's the purple worm spawning, but they are looking for a fight in the jungle.
This should be a bloodbath.
Find one. A good scout of the week on 2. The absolute zero comes down just to ensure the kills. Now Galaxy Gun has a 4th shot there. The orbs of power come down as well. Rescue Spaz is in trouble. Great scout of the week nearly deletes the Belcause. And now it's Galaxy Gun, who is just being chunked down so hard right now. But there's no way he will survive. The only one to remain alive on the side of JW is Stephon Lego, who was coincidentally on the other side of the map.
Yep, this game's kind of still all but over here. In favor of Towson very heavily. Should just grab the Baron here. That'll be their big ticket to really just ending this game right now, since League of Legends does have a lot of natural built-in things to make ending the game pre-20 very hard. That's why 25 to 32ish minutes, depending on how things go. But with that downed inhibitor already in lane, with the spot lane inhibitor turret on its last legs, and your Super Baron buffed up minions, it should just be an easy waltz on in to just end the game. I don't think you even really need to pick up this dragon. Pick it up on your way down. It's on your way to bot lane, I guess, yeah.
Well, right now they don't have any waves in a good wave state to work with, so getting dragon is safe and allows your minions to push up as well. So it also could bait JW into a fight, because it looks like they do want to contest this, even though they shouldn't. They should not be in the bottom quadrant here, and they do get a bit of a CC down onto Rex, but Rex is he's fine with that, and the Scattering Week once again doing more damage. The tidal wave comes through, and oh my, the damage is there, and JW is just getting deleted across the board with Rexrus with the feast. The curtain is cold, but it won't be coming down on anyone except JW. The Scout of the Week a little bit short. He's looking to taunt a little bit, but Yudu is there as well. Galaxy Gun, you almost played yourself there. I don't think you're alive, as you just vanished off the map, as Azina with the TP into the base, and the Scout of the Week just too strong right now. 15, 1, and 8 on the Syndra. My oh my, this is an APC for you. And one more fight to finish out this game. The Cataclysm comes through. But that's a dead Jarvan. A dust. The Grandmaster won't be doing much of this game either. Resting. Kind of just sitting on the fountain. Trying to get damage across. It won't matter, as Towson fills the Nexus for the series win.
And an even more dominating game number 2 than game number 1, to say the least here, Cyro. Towson making their mark. You said there's a 15-1 Syndra. Yeah, at that point, it was like, we kind of knew what was happening in that game. It was long overdue. Just take a look at the damage graphs here. Really, any damage done, it feels like, from JW. That's how far behind they were. Just kept mounting and mounting and mounting even higher and higher, till we saw an nearly 20,000 gold differential at that Nexus explosion.
Now, I do want to give credit where credit is due. JW did improve in one metric. They got a tower off of Towson there as well. So that is a small improvement. It's a very small, participation trophy, consolidation award. But either way, that is going to be a rough loss for JW. You know they want to come out better. But Rextrus was just too much of a monster in the top lane, and allows his team to play for themselves. And I have to say, 6 p.m., she did a great job supporting Azina on the Syndra, who just popped off all game long there, and that damage was disgusting.
Yeah, Towson very firmly stamping their record as a 2-0. Well, stamping another win on their record with this 2-0 in this series. Curious to see how they're able to carry this momentum going into further and further weeks here, Cyro, because there is still more season to be played here.
Yes, there's always more season to be played, but setting yourself up successfully now will pay dividends when you start looking towards the playoffs or the post-league season as well. And so that will advance Towson to a 3-2 record, which does put them above a 50% win ratio, which is always a good feeling to have. So yeah, like just Towson, great dominating performance overall, and it was just fantastic to watch them play because they were winning across the map. And yeah, it's I'm almost at a loss for words to say how dominating their performance was. But JW, you guys showed spirit. You stayed in the game as long as you can and always kept looking for opportunities.
They gave it their best shot, and their best shot not quite enough. There's only so much your best shot can do when you're down that much gold, but might as well try to throw in every kitchen sink into the ring.
Yes, and even then, the kitchen sink can only lead you down the drain. And at the end of the day, this is going to wrap us up here for the first series of the night. So we're going to be throwing it to a break. And when we come back, we will have the next series for you, which is York JV versus St. Clair. So we'll see you on the other side of this break.
Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's blow us down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know racing. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my message from a new world I'd never known. Something about it felt like it'd been waiting my whole life. Is this home? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing. And suddenly it feels like heaven's not so far away. Tell me, can you hear the symphony? Panic, panic, I can't help but think that it's meant to be, that I'm finally right where I'm supposed to. If I let you into the secret, would you listen? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing. And suddenly it feels like heaven's not so far away. Tell me, can you hear the symphony? Panic, panic, and before too long I found where I belong. I can hear it, oh, I can't stop the rush. Every note I touch, I can feel it saving me. Tell me, can you hear the symphony?
Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanna know your dark side. I wanna know your secrets. I wanna be your lifeline. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Tell me you're more than just a highlight. Pretty pictures on the outside. I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
I wanna know you inside and out. Wanna know what's behind the light. Wanna feel that real love from within. Let me in. I want real love, real heights. You're just enough to get me through, get me through. 'Cause you're officially perfect for me. So wait for you, wait for you.
Up all night thinking, passing the time, anxiously waiting. You're on my mind, losing and winning. You can't get it right. Hoping you see me for more than just nights.
Up all night thinking, am I on your mind? Will you come meet me and change my life?
This love could be deeper. Just
Sinking, will you love me?
click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you.
Addicted to you.
Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
need a scarecrow after what you did, 'cause all of the birds know that I'm almost dead. I'm barely breathing, I'm barely awake. You left me in pieces, there's no more to break. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. I need an angel after what you did, 'cause you were the devil, you messed with my head. You lied to my mother, you lied to my friends. You said that you'd be there, but this never ends. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost. You're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. You're just a ghost inside my head. Oh, you're just a ghost inside my head.
Side. I need someone to give me demands, so take me away, have your way. You're on the hunt, I'll be your prey. I'll be your prey. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Gotta get a handle on me and discipline me. Nobody else but you, baby. Give me your love, baby. Lock me up, shake me. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Just lock me up,
I am here in the middle of nowhere. There is no there, it is cold there, but I am safe and I am warm. Although it's hard, I know I gotta keep up. No time to lay to drift away. I find my space, I spend my time down the rabbit hole again, and as I fall I can feel the pain. You can't tell me where to go, so I don't know, I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. 'Cause I'm stuck in limbo. I'm out of love, but I guess I deserved it. Trying to hide, to pass you by. I'm getting numb, feeling fine. I'm light as air, no one can reach me. Lost in a dream, lost in between. Let's keep on flying, let's keep on breathing. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. 'Cause I'm stuck in limbo. Cause I'm stuck in limbo. Cause I'm stuck in limbo.
Welcome back to the desk. Now, we have many desks here because we're not in the same room, just in case you didn't figure that part out. I know the remote thing can still catch people off guard. So, I am Cyrostims, and my co-caster has been swapped out for DJ. So, DJ, how are you doing so far tonight?
Doing pretty well, Cyro. Doing pretty well. Looking forward to some apparently all Canadian matchups here tonight. See who's dominating the northern part of the territories on this beautiful Friday afternoon, right after St. Patrick's Day. So hopefully, I think we don't need to worry about most of the players here in terms of what I'm referencing here in St. Patrick's Day. I'm still wearing green though, as you can see.
Yes, well, in Canada, the drinking age is 19, so maybe we do have to worry about some things, but
Just
enough
another
of
thing that
that.
Canada gets right over America. Good work, guys.
It's the small things after all. But with that said, we do have York University JV against the St. Clair Griffins. So both these teams are fairly competitive with one another, sitting at a 3-2 and 2-3 record, respectively. So this should be a close series that we have on our hands, and I am definitely looking forward to it. Now, I know that the York varsity team just took a loss in another league, so the JV team will definitely have to pull the school up a little bit in terms of morale because Delete All, the jungler for York, was in that series as well, playing on the varsity team as a substitute. So I know Delete All will want revenge and will want the win as well.
Yeah, and of course, both these teams coming off of a loss in general, not even counting the York varsity team. Last matchup in the NECC was an 0-2 for both these squads, so definitely want to be bouncing back from that. And of course, when you are fighting up against a member of the standings that is right around you, you definitely don't want to drop those opportunities, Cyro. So, going to be very important for these teams to make a good first impression, come firing out of the gates here. And I will say, it's not exactly what I would say is coming firing out of the gates. Two tanky top laners and a snooze fest for that lane.
Yeah, snooze fest for the most part, unless we have a interesting Scion build come out. But I'm going to say it's most likely a tank Scion. But looking at the bans right now, it was pretty heavily focused towards the bot lane, with Kaisa, Draven, Senna, Karma, and Yumi all banned out and all predominantly played in the bot lane. The Trinmere, the sole top lane ban so far, and as I say that, Aatrox gets banned as well. But to quickly run down the rest of the picks, we have Hecarim, Azir, Jarvan, and Vex. So definitely looking a bit of an all-in composition on the side of St. Clair so far.
Yeah, and of course, just a reminder that these are in pick order, in roll order, not necessarily in pick order. If we do want to talk about those top laners, they did come in phase to Cyro, so not as slow of a start to the draft as was shown on stream. These were both actually the first picks after the phase number 2 bans. We had Ornn come out for York. We had the Scion come out to match it from SCC on blue side. What we did start the draft with is what you're seeing now. More of these bottom lanes. Hecarim was the first pick, followed by this Lulu Jinx lane into Caitlyn Lux, a matchup that we've been seeing quite a bit of to start out this season, Cyro. And one that, depending on how it's played, right, if you can't get the kills for SCC, you will win this lane. But it is a lane that wants to push, and Jinx Lulu is the other goaded kind of bottom lane at fighting for push. So it's going to be very fascinating and quite the volatile lane, I would say, in this bot side.
Yes, bot lane's always a volatile lane and can control the game as well. Though you often hear of the complaints coming out of the 80 carries, such as imagine being 80 carry in season 12. Well, you chose that punishment for yourself because you chose a role that's meant to be the carry, that's meant to be the target. So if you can't handle the heat, you get out of the kitchen. But sometimes, even if you do, the kitchen comes for you. And both these compositions do have quite a few dive options. The Vex, Jarvan for York, the Hecarim, Azir, Scion on the side of St. Clair as well. So definitely tools to get in on some of those immobile AD carries.
Yep, there's going to be a lot of options. Nice one for SEC here is that, of course, Caitlyn can caliber net herself out of Jarvan cage, out of the Cataclysm, if she does position perfectly, although that is still a little bit of a tricky thing to ask because you do need to be right up against that wall, so you'll need to walk to it. You actually need to click properly and get out, which can be a little tricky in a team fight. And speaking of the team fighting, you've mentioned all of these options, Cyro, coming in from both of these teams. Well, does have to be said. I do think that this York composition is going to be a lot better at the team fighting. You look at this SCC composition. Yes, they have these scaling options, right? Scion, that classic tanky body, right behind an Azir will be doing the damage. Hecarim can go in. But I just look at the AD carries, and Caitlyn is so much harder to pilot in the mid to late game. You really need to be ahead on this pick for SEC. So they want to focus on the bottom lane early on, get this Caitlyn moving around the lanes, get her plates in her back pocket to make sure that she's ahead of the curve. Because if you give up a kill in a team fight to a Jinx, you kind of just lose the fight unless you're very, very far ahead. So I think this composition is really easy to play out for York. And I think they've given themselves a bit of an advantage, but I like Arcane. I'm a little Jinx biased. I think that champ's really strong. So what do I do?
I don't know. I tend to favor cupcakes. They're tasty, they're delicious, and in terms of Caitlyn, also look cute. But that said, we all have our biases, clearly. And one thing with Caitlyn is that it's a fairly game champion. It does poke very, very well, and I believe has a little bit more range on Jinx when Jinx isn't using rockets. Because, of course, the Jinx rockets early game did get nerfed with an extra 4 mana per auto attack. And if you combine the Caitlyn with a Lux, that's an incredible amount of shove power. And because of that, you can just siege towers, take the early towers, and then rotate and get the mid game started on your terms before the Jinx even has a chance to scale. So it will come down to the early game for St. Clair to see if they can get their ball rolling. Otherwise, I do agree with you that York has easier win cons to play towards, and playing to your win cons is a pretty big aspect of the game.
Yeah, the win con pretty clear from York College, as I think we're seeing the draft run through here again. It is that team fight, right? They don't really have any side laners. This is a front to back composition. You're gonna drop down the Ornhorn. You're gonna send in the damage. You're gonna let the Jinx reset and win the fight. Definitely more of an early game focus will be required from St. Clair to win this game, Cyro. And I think you've highlighted it pretty well in what they do need to do. Again, we mentioned this. Caitlyn needs to get ahead. So my eyes will be on the bottom lane, and my eyes, of course, will be on Fresh, the jungler, up against Elite All. Because if you look at the two champions that they've picked for themselves in terms of early game impact, which is what we want to see from St. Clair, they are definitely behind in that sort of court, right? A Jarvan can make so many more plays in the early stages of a game than a Hecarim can, and it's not like Hecarim can do nothing. But he really, really does want that level 6, wants the onslaught of shadows before he can really provide the gank assist and the kill potential that you want out of that champion. And so it's largely going to be on Verge and Isbarlo here in the bottom lane to kind of survive on lane positioning alone. They will not have the winning 3v3. They will not just be able to freely over push, or Delete All is just going to do what his namesake does, right? And delete all in the bottom lane.
Yes, but as you mentioned, Caitlyn does have the 90 caliber net, can reposition herself to avoid those ganks, and Lux can always play those ganks pretty well. Just throw out a light binding in the direction of Jarvan. He either has to buffer it and potentially have a missed flag and drag, or sidestep it, and then you have the room to walk out. And there's also the Shurima shuffle, or the soldier dash thingy, not quite the ultimate, but either way, there's tools on the side of St. Clair to keep safe when Jarvan does come looking for a gank, because as you said, he will. He does have priority early when it comes to ganking, though Hecarim has the faster clear speed and should be able to hit level 6 pretty quickly if he's not contested early, especially if he gets to double scuttle. But I don't think that will be the case, and that both teams will be clashing heads pretty early on and very frequently throughout this series.
Yeah, and again, I think the clash is very much going to be around this bottom side in the early portions here, Syra. You know, we do the Vexen and the Azir can kind of trade prio. Vex should have a little bit more of it in the early game to help out with Delete All. Bottom lane can kind of swing either way depending on how the push is going. But you know, we look at the top side of the map. There aren't going to be any gangs here. If there are, probably not a good thing for the team ganking the top lane. You don't really want to spend resources to gank your low econ tank top laner for team fights later on. The action will be mid jungle bot lane here, and I would really like to see it bot lane because I think that is the important part of this game. If York can shut down Verge and Isbarlo in these early stages, if they don't get a bunch of gold and get ahead, the team fight's going to be so easy for York, and I see it as a very easy win con for them. Just play 5v5s and take this game home. So it will be incumbent upon St. Clair to find ways to let this bottom lane get ahead, get them to a point where they can roam around the map, and then they should be on even footing when the team fights do come around with some of the tools that they have in their back pockets, Cyro. So do keep your eyes focused on the bot lane. Trust me, you can do like single binocular here, right? You don't even need the second binocular for top lane. No, you just need the binocular for bot lane. Unless you're like some Elden Ring player that's like full like berserker where you build like you build like the giant axes and like 50 vigor and like 30 weight or like 80 weight armor or something. You just want to see big meatheads like bash into each other. Then you can pay attention to top lane if you want.
Well, I mean, noodle fights are always fun. Just whacking someone with a wet noodle. They're amusing.
True.
They sound fun.
It's true. It's fun. It's fun until someone gets whacked in the face with one. Those things can whip pretty hard. The older you get, kids
Yeah.
are scary. Cyro.
Yes.
I was one of them.
Oh, yes. Kids are little monsters at times. But so far, looking at the runes that we've seen come across the lower third there, they've been pretty close to mirror images, especially along the primary tree. The mid lane is finally differed, where we have the Conqueror for Azir, where in the previous series, we actually saw a Hail of Blades Azir, and it didn't seem to be that great. So I'm going to keep my eye on Azir to see how the Conqueror does perform overall. But Vex with Electrocute is fairly standard, and both AD carries running lethal tempo, and their primary tree. Actually, no, their runes are entirely the same.
Yeah, they're both actually. I am actually interested to see them both going gathering storm. You can kind of go between inspiration and the blue tree here, depending on what you want out of the lane. But they have both gone for the heavy late game scaling. I'm a little hesitant to say that's as good as on Caitlyn as it is on Jinx, but
Yes, now the supports, we do see the Meteor for the Lux, and this is fairly standard, though that isn't the ultimate cooldown for the secondary tree. It is the movement speed one as well. So Lux definitely looking to roam once she gets those kill stacks going. And for the Lulu, we do have the Guardian and the Biscuits. So fairly standard if she wants to stay close to her ADC. Otherwise, the Aerie might be a bit better in this instance, just because you can stand further away from your carry and not be AoE down with the Lux poke, because those Lucent Singularities really do put the damage and hurt onto a team.
Yeah, I think the Guardian makes a lot of sense for Hades here. You're not really going to be poking back in this lane. If you are the Lulu, what you really want to do in this lane is dump your abilities onto the wave. Right, this lane is about wave control. You will still get outranged by Caitlyn Lux. You can expect those Lucent Singularities to be there. So the Guardian usually the right choice to block one of them, reduce the damage on the kill combo that comes out of the Caitlyn and the Lux, and then you want to dump your abilities onto the wave. You're not going to outpush or outsustain this lane unless something goes really wrong in a trade. So what you want is to make sure that the wave is where you want it. So if I am playing this Lulu, I'm dumping all my abilities to make sure that the minions stay where I want. And then we can rely on, once again, my best friend here in Delete All to come and help us win this lane.
Yes, and we do see the summoner discrepancy as well with the heal on the Caitlyn and the cleanse onto Jinx. So being able to cleanse at the right time is pretty important. Now, there's only two things I would say or recommend worth cleansing, and that is the light binding and the Yordle snap trap out of the Caitlyn. Everything else I would say is it's still valid CC, but it's not hard CC that will lock you down in one place, allowing the chain combo to come out from anyone else. So yeah, so we will have to watch Peter Zezima to see how the cleanse is used and if it is used appropriately.
Yeah, personally, I don't know if the cleanse would be needed normally in this case, Cyro. I probably wouldn't take it. However, what I think this shows and what I think the comments probably are from York is, again, just a recognition of how easy their team fight is later in the game. How does this game go really, really wrong? Version is Barlow get way ahead of Zezima and Hades. So if you take the cleanse and just make sure that you're not going to get killed by an all-in combo from this Caleb Lux in lane, well, all of a sudden you don't even need the heal, right? You can just get the kill, get the reset, and win the team fight. So I think it is, while it's probably in isolation, maybe not the here, given the team comp and what they are looking to do, I do actually think this is the right choice to make sure the game does not get out of control before you come online.
Yeah, so we did see the 3-man start bot for the side of St. Clair, but it was warded out by Hades, which is a pretty good ward to throw down early. I believe both supports warded the same spot. Swap to sweepers as well. So definitely wanted to retain control of the vision in those bot bushes just to make sure no one can get the easy pokes from within them. But otherwise, it looks to be a fairly standard start, I would say, overall.
I got a deep ward placed right here onto Fresh. It'll spot him out, and this will be nice to know. I mean, I would, based on the drafts, Cyro, I would kind of expect this double start top, and it looks like they're actually going to opt into it. This is a fairly standard one to path down towards the Caitlyn. It will spot out Fresh. They do have a counter ward from St. Clair kind of in this river. You can see just on top of the brush. That is to stop the level 2 ganks that can come from a Jarvan when he is clearing. We'll see what the lead all wants to do here as the bot lane. The trading will begin. Again, wave control going to be the name of the game here.
Yes, wave control. So it's Barlow going to sweep this ward, maybe get a little bit of gold back. But really, it's just Jinx doing Jinx things right now. Does actually have a 1 CS advantage, and they're trading pretty heavily bot lane. And Peter was close, but delete all here with the engage. And did not get the Grump steal, actually. So that's tempo over to Fresh.
At the lead, although he's just going to keep following him. Like, he knows he wins this duel in the early game. There's actually no smite on Fresh either. He's had to pop Ghost. I think he has to head for the hills. Omro combo is here first. Fresh in trouble. He's getting flashed on. There's the fear. There's the follow-up. And there's first blood for Omro combo.
Yeah, that's first blood, and definitely very aggressive posturing out of York, following through with that invade, because otherwise that would be lost tempo, lost experience, and just lost time for the lead all there. But following through pays dividends. I do get a binding here on the Hades. Hades getting chunked down fairly decently, but overall it's about pretty tight, and a kill goes over to Aqua Anthony there as the Scion drops dead.
Yeah, Quantity. I mean, it's just another move from Delete All. I think Ricky probably, he just oversteps, right? They knew he was there, right, Cyro? They knew Delete All had just helped get the kill out of their mid laner, and Ricky is just way too far up in lane. What a start here from the York Lions JV.
Yeah, it's definitely an aggressive start, but Jarvan only has a camp and a half to his name, so I would say going to be a little bit behind in jungle pacing and items as well, though the kill assist does help. So Ricky LaFleur cancels the back, proxies the wave, and you can tell Orin is in a little bit of a precarious situation. Nothing should happen, but without much mana, we do have a fight bot.
Oh, and here's the bot lane we were talking about. The flash is coming in. The heal's there. One more auto would do it. It's not going to come through Verge. Just going to stay alive. There's no damage to follow up here. Fresh is around, but what can a level 3 Hecarim do? The answer, as we mentioned in draft, not a lot. And while the kill doesn't come through, once again, impacting the map is Delete All. I love how active he's being in the early game. And like, honestly, who cares if Ricky LaFleur, like, do we care if Ricky LaFleur is proxying this wave?
It does keep Aqua Anthony stuck to his tower, though, which means he won't be able to get backs and reset his mana pool, because that's the one thing you can't do on Ornn, buy pots to regain your mana. So he's kind of in a tough situation, but should be able to hold on and wave clear effectively, though it does seem like Ricky LaFleur is getting a little bit of CS lead right now. But overall, it is York University with the 700 gold lead right now.
He's going to come in for Peter. This will feel really nice. That is a great buy already onto the major component of a mythic item as the Nude Quiver does come in. That's going to feel so good, and still need a base from Verge after he was forced back to get a good item. This is the bot lane lead going over to York, and we mentioned how important it was in draft, Cyro, for these two squads. It's York who are getting that early edge.
Yes, it is York with the early edge because they had the pressure from Delete. Oh, because he went straight from base to bot lane for that gank level 3 when he had 6 CS. That's just kind of nutty. He's not even farming, he's just straight up ganking. So we do see that Fresh still has an overall CS lead in the jungle, and if he's able to leverage it correctly, should hit 6 first. But we have a gank top as well, and this could be another dead Scion.
Very low is LaFleur. One more auto will take him down, and this time it is Delete All who will get the gold in his back pocket. And yeah, I mean, okay, hold on. Okay, Aquanthony just gonna go down here to the Scion passive. A little bit of an overstay. That's gonna be a frustrating mistake. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Omaro, First Blood King, he's in a little bit of trouble. He's gonna go down, in a nice combination between Zephyrat and Fresh will net their second kill of the game. It's chaos all over the map. Unfortunately, for both of the members of York that have gone down, they both do have EP to head back to lane.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught it there, but Vex actually iframed the devastating charge out of the Hecarim there. It ultimately didn't result in a kill for Omre combo, but it was still a great mechanical heads-up play to make. And if Vex had Ignite, that probably would have been a 1-1 trade overall there. But now we have Delete All and Fresh here for a bot lane fight, and this should be a pretty big fight.
Yeah, no flash on Verge, but a nice set of traps. They're going to try and knock him back in. He still has Conquered. Get hit by Ignite, will kite out. Nice chunk goes down into Hades, and that's good protection by Fresh, but nothing more. Omaro's here as well. He's actually level 6. The Shadow Surge does come out. It will stay in the back pocket. The wave will once again be pushed in, and oh boy, Verge, you should not be here, buddy. You are a little too low. Fresh is still around, but he doesn't have 6, Cyro.
Yes. Oh, hey, Verge taking a little bit more chip damage every single time. And they should be able to clear this wave. Fresh is hovering, but it seems like it will be a back out of the York bot lane right now. They just want to maintain their tempo, even though they don't have a CS lead. They're still ahead overall on components until that call is finished, as that will be a pretty big gold boost for the Caitlyn. That's still 64 CS away. Overall, it's a pretty even game state. Fresh is definitely slower on the clears than I would have thought, because despite a pretty big advantage early, was able to capitalize on it in terms of the CS. And Delete Alt has done a great job to stay relevant, keep CSing, and because of that, is going to be able to take the Dragon early.
Minutes into this one, first Dragon will go down. Fresh not accelerating his CS lead as much as he probably would like. Has had to shadow the bot lane a couple times, but critically now does have that level 6. So the Onslaught of Shadows is online, Cyro, and they're actually up 600 or so gold right before that Drake does go down. So not bad for St. Clair. They're in a decent spot. You can see Fresh already looking to see if he can get something done. And the red buff here of the lead all going to be forfeit, as Ricky LaFleur is really going on an adventure here outside of lane, just kind of leaving Squanthony to farm under turret. He is really helping himself to the camps and or others of the Rift at this point.
Yes, now Rift Herald is the target for St. Clair College right now. The Griffins, they want to take the Rift Herald, they want to kill Shelly, but the Orn may have different things to say about that, and I think
Fresh has definitely gone a little too far here. We still have not used the Cataclysm. Okay. There it is from Delete All, and it's just a bit of a bridge too far. Now Omaro going in with the ultimate. Very, very low as Ricky LaFleur without any mana. He will almost certainly go down as Delete All's here as well, and this looks like a bad spot for Zephyrat. Gonna throw out the wall. He's doing the damage to Aquanthony. Really the damage is coming out of the side pass. We have a fail flash from Zephyrat. Will spell his demise. It's 3 kills on the top side for York JV, and they'll get the Rift Herald to boot.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Ricky was going on an adventure, and eventually the adventure came back around because Aqua caught him in the tri-bush. Elite All was able to get there, and then Omaro just has a lot of map presence. But the bot lane, once again, looking to destroy Hades. Peter's next, and that's a clean 2-0 for the side of St. Clair.
Yeah, very nicely done in the bot side of St. Clair. The target focus was not there for the York Lions that time around. You got 2 members hitting 2 different people. It's Barlow stays alive, no reset, and that is a huge swing for them. They really needed that Cyro after how badly the top side play went for them.
Yes, 100%. They needed that gold swing back in their favor. And despite being down in kills, they are up in gold. It's just taken over to a 1k gold lead right now. We do see the Vex potentially looking bottom for a dive, but St. Clair bot lane will look for a reset right now. spend that gold because you know their pockets are heavy right now. And even Delete All was a little bit slow on getting there, so they do get out cleanly. So overall, St. Clair making some good macro choices, even if some of them aren't working out.
By the way, one thing to note, Cyro, Ricky LaFleur is doing the interesting Scion build. He is doing Inting Scion. So these 3 deaths might not mean that much. We will probably see a lot more.
Probably, but just the fact that he has a kill up 23 CS is a good look for an Inting Scion this early on. He has the call as well. It's already halfway done. So it's kind of scary that the Inting Scion is already getting off the ground. Now we also see that Orin has picked up a call as well, which I do find surprising because it's not usually an item you get on a top lane tank.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that one come out. Try to maybe just match. I mean, I think really the concept is they're not going to be interacting with each other, so why not just get the extra gold off of farming minions? No one's going to be stopping me, so I can just cash that at some point in the game. Because yeah, Inting Scion, I mean, as we can see, he's proxying waves, he's running around, doing whatever he wants, and that's about it. He's never really going to be a part of team fights. Speaking of team fighting, here come all the ultimates, and there goes the bottom lane. And this is exactly what we kind of talked about in the draft, Cyro, because that is a wombo combo from hell for St. Clair.
I don't know if it was from hell, but it's certainly from a red side of the Rams. And then with the Rip Turtle on top, they get a clean first tower take as well. And the gold lead that St. Clair had was just eviscerated by York University Lions. Claws out. They pull out a 1k gold lead of their own. So a 2k gold swing in that play alone. And you can see Delete All miles ahead of Fresh right now, having that gold lead almost in its entirety on him.
So much gold in his back pocket at the moment. And remember, Delete, he was behind in CS, but it doesn't matter. He's been involved in nearly every kill. He actually has. He has 100% KP. Speaking of KP, Remember's going to get a little bit of that on a nice kill onto Omuro as Ricky LaFleur. He's moved on down to the spot lane to start working away at that turret as well. And nicely timed with the ultimate will catch out the enemy mid laner. And we'll start to fight back as the first turret did go down in that bottom lane. This is, yeah, I'd say fresh. It's not really going to work out. There's a certain spell that Lulu has that, you know, turns your horsey into a little rabbit. It makes it a little hard to engage. Is it a rabbit or a squirrel? It's a squirrel, right?
Whatever it is, it's annoying. The ultimate polymorph ability, even though it's not an ultimate, it acts like one. And now it's Arlo who's getting focused down here. An Onslaught Shadow comes through. And Peter does have to flash out there, but Delete All is in there as well. Power goes down, and it's a bit of a fiesta right now as the Streamer Shuffle buys the room. But Delete All said, no, not today. And now Verge is going to get picked off here. And, well, that is a team fight if I've ever seen one, with only Ricky LaFleur being the last one alive on the side of St. Clair.
Yeah, beautifully done there from the side of York Lions. Again, just flexing their power. We just talked about the leap before the fight. He's super strong. He kind of chunks out fresh. A little bit unlucky for Peter as he was kiting the fight out pretty well. Actually got taken down by the Drake instead of the Hecarim. If he had stayed alive and gotten a reset, it would have been even worse. But as it is, York be very happy to get the second Drake under their in their possession here, and now a pretty substantial goal lead of 1k with good control of the map as well. Only turret of the game is theirs. They'll be feeling great as they are starting to come on the line here in this team fighting portion of the game.
Yes. So Ricky is almost finished his call, has the hull breaker, and is fairly scary as a side lane Scion right now. Will be able to do a lot of damage, tank a lot, and also pressure the towers very, very well, especially with the Demolish Ruin that we saw earlier.
Side lane, he still doesn't take it. What do we need more turrets out of Ricky LaFleur at this point in the game, Cyro, or is it just fine at this point?
I think it's fine at this point because
might be a little trouble. There's actually a flash over the wall from Hades. That felt like a little bit of a bridge too far from the Lulu. Really trying to play the Rovex Lulu here. Get in on the face of the enemy, but unfortunately not going to pay dividends there, Cyro.
You could say it's a flashy play regardless there, even if it is a bit ambitious. But yeah, Ricky hasn't taken any towers yet, which I think is okay. It's only 16 minutes, and the first tower went down to Rift Herald, and it is freshly caught out in his jungle right now. The Cataclysm comes down, and the Onslaught is a little too late there. So the Hecarim gets turned into glue once more.
Elite's strong. 6-0-6 now with that Gorge Raker can full boots completed. Top side, Omro is in a lot of trouble. Omro is dead. Which one will it be? Turret or the snipe? Turns out it's the snipe. Nicely done by Verge. Nice little point and click. Feeling like a Syndra there for a second. And I'll try to chase the rest of York Lions off of this Rift Herald. It looks like they will succeed with their mid laner dying for the third time this game.
Yeah, so I think Ricky LaFleur will get the bot tower here because Aqua Anthony isn't quite there yet. So St. Clair should be able to hold mid tower here pretty easily there. Now we have the Caitlyn and the Lux wave clear. It's pretty obnoxious to deal with and siege against. So that is the bot tower going down. The top tower also goes down for St. Clair. And now it's Ricky trying to survive in a 1v2.
So Ricky already used the ultimate. I don't think he's getting out of this one, Cyro. We'll watch the autos rain down here. One more cue for the road for Mr. LaFleur. What he needs to do, I don't know why he's running away. He needs to get to the turret. If he's playing the Scion, he's gonna go for the kill. And Ricky hit the turret. Ricky hit the...
It's okay. His team will get the Rift Herald off of that play regardless. So that could lead into other objectives as well. But either way, they are playing the cross map fairly well. And despite the kill discrepancy being heavily in favor of the York University JV team, you know, the Lion Cubs, you could say, it's still a very even game across the board.
Just about an 800 gold lead at the moment for York Lions JV. So definitely not too far in either direction at this point, Cyro. We're working our way into the middle portion of this game. Verge working towards this turret. Still pretty healthy, though. We are looking at one turret apiece here with that very close goal lead. Of course, critical item spikes here. 2 items have already been completed for Peter Zazima. We're not really that close on Verge. He's about 800 gold behind in that respect. So definitely some advantages still for York Lions despite the kind of slight-ish gold lead.
Actually, that's pretty even gold, which is a bit surprising because I thought for sure Peter would have a gold lead just based on the tower plates alone. But the ace in the hole comes through, doesn't kill Peter, but a good chunk regardless. And once again, Fresh is sent to the gray screen to perhaps freshen up a little bit.
Ulti comes out here onto Zephyrat. I think he's been... Oh my god! Okay, Omro. I mean... Yeah, why not? Shadow Surge, there's a snipe. Nice stopwatch will keep it alive. There's... Okay, Barlow, that was a... I like the attempt, buddy, but your burst was already gone.
It's what we call an ambitious play. Now Verge is going to be focused out here. Yeah. Zap comes through. The heal, not enough. Maybe if he was able to get to the wall and flashed over, but either way, Delete All would be there with a flash and Cataclysm of his own. So... I think...
Run, Ricky! Ricky does not have ultimate. Okay, they're not actually going to roam up, so this will be an honorable duel between the tanks in the top lane. Here we go. No ultimates on either side. Ricky, the Q, get the knockup, and okay, this is why we don't look at top lane.
What do you mean this is why we don't look at top lane? This is quality wet noodle fighting here. But it's the dragon that should have our eyes, and it does. As Fresh is going to go for the dragon, they do get the dragon, and he's able to get out cleanly as well.
And the rest of the squad.
There, but combo is there. Delete All follows through as well. And suddenly it's Barlow going down next. Just a second, Barlow just died. Fresh, just get out alive. You got the dragon, you bought your team time, and oh no, this is another dead horse. Too many broken ankles on this horse. And Verge staying alive just a little bit. Great combo. This should be a dead Vex. It's a trade. Overall, it's a trade.
It is a trade, and the Baron now on the map, going to be under siege. Yes, Ricky got the top turret here, tier 2, of course, with Aquanthony teleporting away to guarantee the fight, but this will be the big prize. This is the Baron that's going to go over to York Lions JV, and you want to talk about fighting back against siege, taking full control of the game. It's all going to be in the hands of the Lions here after this goes down. Hades, do not die on me. Don't do it.
Do it, Hades. Dive right into the Scion. Okay, so he goes in on Delete All. Delete All stays alive so far. Hades, hey, he's been pressured. Hades does go down here. Ricky's probably going to go down as well. So 1-for-1 overall. And that
they need
was
to
a
get out.
CC on Aquaman. So yeah, they do have to get out. Fresh is there as well. Goes on to Delete All. But I don't think they have the cooldowns needed to really commit to this fight.
Nope, not quite there this time around. Cyro, they will take some scraps at the back end of it. They'll get the Scuttle Crab. They'll get that kill to slow down the Baron push. But just to support, top laner to be down for the same amount of time. Base are a little bit staggered. And need delete. Wow, this is, yeah, I mean, jungler support. Goodbye. Arlo, you did.
Yep. And speaking of jungler there, Delete All, currently 7-0-14 with a 700 gold bounty, is currently the only one in this game who hasn't died yet. Yeah, we also see the goalie, 2,500 just on the jungler difference alone. That's I'm gonna say a little bit shocking considering he's also down 40 CS or 50 CS basically. Still,
Well,
Delete All with a fantastic performance.
Yeah, welcome to Jarvan, baby, right? He's been active on the map this entire game. He has nearly 100% KP. He's only missing in 2 of the 23 kills. That's insane. Like, what is this map? I need to do. Hold on. I'm not in school anymore, so I haven't done basic arithmetic in a while. It is 91% of kills that Delete All is a part of right now. That's his KP. That's absolutely nuts for 23 kills.
Yes, and speaking of kills, we will get more here as Combo is looking over the wall for something.
Ouch.
Does get a 2-man fear.
Ouch.
CC isn't quite there for the follow-up, but as you said, ouch, because the Verge and Zephyros there were taking the brunt of that damage as well. So Combo definitely looking for something. Spotted out by a ward in the bush. Does get chunked down by the ace in the hole.
A little bit of dancing going on here from Deletus. The second minion wave comes crashing in. That'll get rid of the turn. Delete just gonna go on in. Flash comes out of Verge. There's the full engage, and this is how easy it is for York Lions in a fight. Just press your buttons and goodbye. A nice combo on the other end from St. Clair. There's a good flash in from Zephyros, but it's gonna get him killed. It's gonna be a 1-for-1. Still hectic fighting. Delete All on the backside, but the critical thing is Peter is down, meaning no more reset. Flashing in as a quantity. He's separated from his team, though. Can't get the kill. Verge will go down. Delete All is so strong. He's still going. He's got the Conqueror proc. He's got the Lulu in his back pocket. He is the carry now, but can he go 1v2? A lot of damage coming out from Barlow. He's burning down to the items. I don't think he's... Okay, they might get out. They might get out, Hades. Hades now in trouble. Hades gonna turn. Barlow's gonna go down! Hades gonna win in some Portal combat! Now can the Lulu run? We've seen these highlight reels before. Gonna hit that speed. Can he get away? Gonna dodge out on the slow. Can he dodge out on the Q? He's gonna get slowed by the Q. Come on, baby. Come on, Hades. He gets the Q, so he's out! Hades is gonna get away! Let's go, baby!
And this is why the lore is that Yordles are from hell, or little devils. Too many years with Teemo, and now we have Lulu, who is still alive. Please, somebody just killed the god of dead. Oh.
Yes! Look at him! Bathed in the glory of the enemy red buff, stolen from their cold, dead... Well, it's actually a warm corpse. That thing has not been there for very long. But that is just beautiful stuff from Hades. And now you can see York Lions start to have a little fun with this one, Cyro. They don't have the third Drake, unfortunately, but they do have themselves a 6k gold lead, full run of the map at this point. And again, Ricky, he's been splitting the entire game. They have not been really able to fight, and they don't have any of the Nexus turrets down yet. So this game is really completely York Lions as to win or lose.
Yes, it is in favor for York, but with York having the advantage that they've had and not being able to crack the base so far, definitely speaks to St. Clair's perseverance and being able to come back into this game. Now, Ricky has gotten all 3 towers for the side of St. Clair, so it will be on Ricky to continue that side lane pressure and continue it in such a way that it actually buys his team pressure on the rest of the map. Otherwise, I think St. Clair could just look to continue a very slow bleed until York just decides to end it.
need a clean closeout here now from York. Cyro, that's what we're looking for, right? Show us how clean you can be at the end of this game. Everything's fully online for them here. I mean, 3 items on Jinx, 3 items on Omuro. I think nearly 4 probably on Delete All at this point. Yeah, he's got 3, probably some extra gold as well, and he's the jungler. Everything's there for them. I mean, masterwork items are coming online now for Ord. It is just about cleanliness in this late game. Find your engage, find your pick, get into the enemy base, and whether that is done alone or with the Baron that's coming up in 30 seconds, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Delete All, definitely the star of the team so far, but we can't overlook the Omuro combo because this Vex has definitely been putting in work. And so the second Baron is just seconds away right now. We know York is setting up for it, and it is up to second Baron face checking. And gold bounties are activated, so Ricky in this bot lane will be getting extra gold for this T2 tower. And he has the Titanic Hydra, so he could very quickly push a lane. And there's the tower. He's now TPing to the fight, so this will be a full team fight.
Here we go. Ornhorn going to be popped here. Only going to land onto 1, and that's only onto the tank. But you can just see how hard it is for Zephyros to walk in, and he has to go in as he's being burned down, and he will fall first. Shadow Surge will go wide, getting a little bit of a reprieve for the rest of the squad of St. Clair. But dude, they can't even walk through their own trap line to get towards this Baron. You got Fresh out to the top side. You got Ricky LaFleur in a bush. He still has his ultimate, but a Quanthony running this front line. Now comes the secondary engage. Verge is still trying to walk in, but he's going to get knocked up. Has to flash away. Damage coming down. They've gotten onto Peter. That's a critical takedown. Already 2 kills. Can they turn the fight? No! Omuro going to snipe out Verge on the backside, and the gold lead is all too much here for the Orc Lions. It's a valiant effort on the backside from St. Clair, but they do not have the stats. They do not have the items, and now Ricky LaFleur, he is strong, but he is just a sign. He's going to get kited and CC'd out here the rest of this fight. Unlikely to escape, even as he walks away, if York decides to take him down. The question is about the Baron. Is actually flashing away now from the return Zephyros. God, it's actually early into this game. We forget. That's how far ahead York is at just 28 minutes because Zephyros was able to respond. Doesn't even matter. The lead is going to get his 3rd Proc of Gore Drinker of this fight. He will actually go down for 1,000 gold shutdown to a Quanthony. Nicely done there. And still fighting is a Quanthony. Zephyros down to 1 HP. Ricky LaFleur, it's a double kill. A Quanthony will fall to the ace in the hole. What a chaotic fight. And St. Clair staying alive, Cyro, but for how much longer?
That was actually massive for the side of St. Clair. Not only do they stop the Baron, they get an ace as well. Both sides got an ace there over the length of that fight. But more importantly, they collected the shutdowns off of Elite All, for instance, which was a 1k gold bounty. And that was absolutely massive. So you could just see this Scion will not go down easily and can out-sustain. Yeah, the Scion alone can just team tank everyone on York for way too long. Yeah, that was actually good for York. They've closed the gold lead. It's down to about 4k instead of the 7k it was earlier. So York, they do have to be careful with these team fights. They're not too far ahead, though they are on Soul Point, which is coming up in the next 30 seconds.
30 more seconds until that soul is available. We could see another one of those wild skirmishes this time around, Cyro. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. St. Clair have done a good job of getting onto Peter, and now this time they're going to get onto the enemy mid laners. Omuro is in trouble. Does have a stopwatch to buy some time, but he's still in a very bad spot, and he is just going to fall down. It's a big pick to start the fight off. Cataclysm has been used as well on the backside, forced the flash out of Barlow, but you can see Orc Lions, a member down, they're a little too afraid to walk into this choke point. They are going to concede this dragon.
They were trying to handshake objectives there. But Ricky was like, no, not today. I will walk with you guys and escort you away from the Baron. So that pick turns into a dragon, turns into a mid tower, and right now we're watching St. Clair snowball the objectives. They've actually fought back in to a 1.5k gold difference. And this is just phenomenal teamwork coming out of St. Clair, led by Ricky LaFleur.
Hey, they're going in, but they haven't gone on a Peter this time around. He's still alive in the back line, trying to take down Fresh. Can he kite away? He's going to get the reset. This is a problem, but no. Sephiroth goes in, takes down the Jinx, and that's a huge pickup. There is no more consistent damage. The lead all going to try and get on the enemy mid. Sephiroth, I believe, will fall here for killing Peter, but again, they find the critical target to stay alive in the 80 carry. Now, Omro has TP'd back into this one. Can't quite slow Ricky LaFleur down enough. Barlow running away towards the top side. Can he keep himself alive? If he can't, it likely will mean Baron is still on the table with the support down. Still running, still hiding. Hey,
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's just a spectator glitch. But seeing the blue trinkets there pulsing back and forth, it's kind of a cool effect there. So Rick LaFleur now in a 1v3 situation there, but Barlow
Wait,
is there as
Barlow.
well.
No, Barlow, don't show your face.
He gets it! He gets it! He gets the Vex. So Barlow will go down here by the Cataclysm. But Rick LaFleur is still alive. And we've seen the Scion survive before. I doubt we'll survive this time as Hades is there as well. But this is a 1v3 Scion.
Oh my
and
God,
look at that
shield.
What is that shield? It's disgusting. That's what it is. That's a disgusting shield.
That is a big health shield right there. There's a lot of HP on this Scion. Definitely very, very nice for him to be able to get that up every couple of seconds with the W, but fortunately, he will still fall in the extended fight. Peter's back up as well, which means Baron number 2 finally going to be on the table here for York Lions, unless Fresh pull out a miraculous steal. And he's going to go for it. Looking around here. Does not have the
Look
Ghost
for
available.
Hades.
Only has the Devastating Charge. Sephiroth going to get knocked up. They're going to turn off the Baron. There's a reset. You go right back to the Baron if they want. As the mid laner now down. And this feels like a bridge too far for St. Clair. York Lions will finally get their big prize and can look to end the game.
They can look all they want, but whether they're actually able to is a whole nother matter, because Dragon is up in 2 minutes 30, and that will roughly be when Baron falls off. And Sinclair have done a fantastic job of staying in this game and battling back. Yes, the goal leads back to being a 4,500 difference, but we've already seen Sinclair battle back once. They can do it again. Their team is slowly coming online, and right now, Ricky LaFleur is just too big of a tank that he's just allowing his team to constantly respawn with how long it takes to kill him.
Is very, very tanky. There is some armor cut, of course, but it's only on Peter. That's why this target is so important for the side of St. Clair. Though they are using the second Baron, walking into the base, that tanky boy in a quantity, just going to tank the trap line, and the turret is in from the flank. Comes Ricky LaFleur. He will get blocked up by the tank in a quantity. They're trying to get up Peter, but Peter flashes away. Peter is looking for the reset. Peter has the reset, and the knockups are coming through. This is the team fight we wanted to see. The good itemization for Ricky be damned. It doesn't matter when you're dealing with a level 17 Jinx. Down goes the composition of St. Clair. The walls have been broken. The dam has been busted, and St. Clair is going to be dropping game number 1 to York Lions JB.
Yes, the York Lions JV had an absolutely phenomenal performance. They threw it in part of this late game, but when they got back the wheel, they said, we will just end the game. And that's exactly what they did. It took a while, just over 30, couple minutes in, and 45 kills for the side of York. But regardless, York JV picks up game 1 in this best of 3 scenario. But I have to say, St. Clair did do a fantastic job holding on overall.
Yep, decent fight back from St. Clair. Some pretty fun moments, of course, from the top side of there with that Scion from Mr. LaFleur. But unfortunately, not quite enough to overcome what we identified as a very easy team fighting composition available for the side of the York Lions. We'll see if that fight we saw from St. Clair can help them to a bounce back win in game number 2, or if the Lions will get their revenge for both their last loss and their varsity team's loss with a clean 2-0 today when we return for the second game of this best of 3.
I need a scarecrow after what you did, 'cause all of the birds know that I'm almost dead. I'm barely breathing, I'm barely awake. You left me in pieces, there's no more to break. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. I need an angel after what you did, 'cause you were the devil, you messed with my head. You lied to my mother, you lied to my friends. You said that you'd be there, but this never ends. Don't wake me up, not in this century. Don't wake me up, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips, 'cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. You're just a ghost inside my head. Oh, you're just a ghost inside my head.
One touch from you, and I was hooked. And like an addict, I can't get enough. Can't be away, take me away. You're on the hunt, I'll be your prey. I'll be your prey. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Gotta get a handle on me, discipline me. Nobody else but you, baby. Give me your love, baby. Lock me up, chain me. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Just lock me in your chains. Just lock me in your Give me your love, baby. Lock me up, chain me. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. I've been bad. I need someone to give me demands. So take me away, have your way. You're in the hunt, I'll be your prey. I'll be your prey. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Gotta get a handle on me and discipline me. Nobody else but you, baby. Give me your love, baby. Lock me up, chain me. I'm a prisoner, I won't break free. Just lock me in your
I am here in the middle of nowhere. There is no there, it is cold there, but I am safe and I am warm. Although it's hard, I know I gotta keep up. No down the rabbit hole again. And as I fall, I can feel the pain. You can't tell me where to go, so I don't know, I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. 'Cause I'm stuck in limbo.
I was muted there. I am a professional, as you can tell, because I
Oh,
was
we've
muted.
all done it. Don't worry.
But as the spiel was going, welcome back. We have the second game of the night and the second series of the night as well between St. Clair and York University. We do have a side swap as well. So, DJ, we did talk during the break about some of the change ups that need to be made or that we feel are appropriate. So, can you give the viewers a quick rundown of those changes?
Yeah, so it kind of depends. And we have gotten confirmation, as you mentioned, confirmations of side swap should switch things up a little bit for the side of St. Clair. But if you're St. Clair, I think where you look at where the problems came is you were just outgunned in team fights in that draft. And I honestly think they kind of recognized that, right? Ricky LaFleur going for this, a very heavy split pushing build with the hull breaker, really trying to focus on side laning and turrets and kind of disrupting this Ornn because it was pretty clear to them, I think, that they were not going to win team fights the later this game went on, and I think that was borne out in the game. So now that you are on red side, I think you could just give the Jinx up and opt into a similar matchup. But if you are going to take the Caitlyn, you need to pick a jungler that can have more early game impact, right? Someone that can actually match the crazy ganks and the playmaking that we saw come out of the York Lions last game from Delete All. Because the Hecarim wants to go to 6, and the Caitlyn Lux needs help in the lane phase to make sure they can stay ahead. It's just a little synergistic, in my opinion. So if you want to go for that kind of combo, try to draft the Jinx Lulu onto your side so you have more of a team fight engaged and a little bit of enabling for Hecarim, or pick something like, Lee Sin, whatever, in first phase to try to play that earlier game style if you do want to draft this kind of bot lane.
Yeah, just either enabling the heck and playing around it or changing up your team comp. And you mentioned having a early game jungler to match. Now we do see a lot of Xin Zhao, even Trundle early on, and both of these champions can go toe to toe against a J4. Now, because there is the side swap, bans will probably be a bit different than before, because I think giving Jarvan back over to Delete All could be a mistake. But we will find that out once we get into Champ Select. But either way, York played game one fairly well, and it is up to St. Clair to make the required changes because they were the team that looked shakiest. Now, that said, I do actually like Ricky LaFleur's Scion. He played it pretty fantastically, got a bunch of towers, was a menace in the team fights, and just lived so long. Unfortunately, his backline couldn't follow through with the damage, so the tank just kind of died out in the end.
Yeah, right. He was super tanky, right? He got all those resources, but this is kind of the part of the problem you have when you give your tank your resources, right? It's really great when they can absorb damage, but if you can't stay alive in a team fight and he's the last one or the second to last one, it doesn't really matter, does it? You can't really do a lot of your Scion with all that CC in a 1v2. So that's why you want resources on the carries, right? On the playmaking
Ooh.
high agency champions. So while I do agree with you that Ricky LaFleur played kind of his role in the game pretty well, again, the game plan was just not online at that point for St. Clair, making it really hard for them to kind of accomplish anything in the later stages, despite actually turning some of those team fights, I would say, in surprising fashion as we see the picks and bans coming through for the second draft. Again, we had that side swap. That Scion was taken away, but so far we are seeing a very different draft in this game too.
Yes, a very different draft because we also saw the Jinx and the Jarvan were banned out as well. And you could just tell that York with the Akali and Zed could just look to stat check people with these assassins and delete alt on the Hecarim. He might be horsing around this match. We will have to see. But after that game one performance, he definitely has the leeway and the potential to carry. Now over to St. Clair, they do have the Aatrox, Lee Sin, and Silas. Now if Aatrox gets off the ground with the World Ender, the sustain can be absolutely incredible. And with the AoE abilities, can look to punish the Akali even if she goes into her shroud. And I don't know, how scary is a AP version of a set alt if Silas decides to steal that? I think that would be terrifying, wouldn't it?
Wow. The ult you really want to steal as a Silas is obviously the Hecarim ult. I think a Kali ult is fine, but you're already AP. Zed ult AP is, I mean, it does the same thing, right? You're gonna die if the whole combo hits you. It doesn't really matter whether it's AT or AP. I feel like so that one seems a little superfluous. I think you're pretty much trying to hard lock in on that Hecarim ultimate. That's the one you really want to take away if you can. But what I have to say about this draft is number one, I mean, this is going to be a completely different game of League of Legends that we saw in game number one. I mean, game number one was all about team fighting. We had a lot of options, right? 5v5, 4v4, whatever you wanted. This game is a show me draft from both sides here. I mean, two high intensity, high agency assassin solo laters on the side of York JV, matched by members that can counter them, that can fight them. Of course, we get this Kaisa that is resurging into the meta in the bot lane that can provide some burst and damage in the late game. She can get blown up by the assassins. She can blow up the Ezreal, right? So many players have agency in this game. And very opposite of what we saw in game one, where I thought the bot side was the early game focus. This game is going to be about the top side completely. I mean, you've got an Ezreal Karma here. Like, this lane's going